You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is December 14th, 2021. This is episode 83 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm the Pop Culture Warrior, and with me, as always, is my very own ghostwriter. He is the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured, Mr. Radar. Say hi, Radar.
Hi, Radar.
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing, buddy. What's going on, man?
Happy Tuesday night.
It is a fucking Tuesday, isn't it?
I didn't jack up the intro.
Good this time.
What's up, everybody? Quick hello.
Shit.
Hi, everybody. Jim, what's going on? What is that? The Pookie on Twitch. All right, man. What's up? Sean, Kendrick. Kendrick's on CQ. Ugh. 189th CSSB 82nd Airborne Bragg. All right, right on, man. Thanks for checking us out. Tim in Iowa City's watching. I think there's a Jake from Ottawa. I don't know. I've never heard. That's fake. That's made up.
It sounds made up.
Sean from Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. What's up?
My uncle used to be stationed there. I put that in the chat.
Corey, Greg, isn't Greg's the guy that won the prize package last week, right?
I believe so.
Greg Russell. That sounds right, man. What's up, Greg? Coming back for more goodies. Tim, the VA sucks. Yeah, it does. We got
which VA? Like Virginia or the VA or like?
I think we know which VA he's talking about. Josiah from Temple, Texas. What's going on? Who else we got? Corey, oh man, life and slaying dragons. All right, right on. Steven almost forgot penis. They cannot. Yeah, Steven's our good luck charm, man. Every time he hits us with that penis, we have a phenomenal show.
Well, in all fairness, we always have phenomenal shows, buddy.
And that's because Steven always puts penis at the beginning of each one.
Before then and since then.
I'm making lemonade out of lemons here.
These nuts too.
These nuts. What's up, Steven? God, give us these nuts anyway, too. Oh, man, Milwaukee in the house. What's up? Faceman / VTT. What's up, gents? Nice. What's up to you, Faceman?
Man. Thanks for being here.
What is
up? This is cool.
Greg says, wait a minute. No, I wish I won. Who? So it was Travis?
Man, I don't know. That's your job.
Oh, man. I reached out to the people that won.
Hold on a minute. I gotta do something. Just hold on. You keep talking. I just gotta fix something.
Okay, you go for it. You go ahead. So let's see. So thank you guys for checking us out. It's gonna be a fun night. Later in the evening, we've got an amazing TV screenwriter, TV script writer, screenwriter, producer, executive producer, showrunner. Michael Jamin is coming on. He's an incredible dude. He's been writing TV since like '96. I mean, credits from Just Shoot Me, Beavis and Butthead. What else? Oh man, I had a whole list. King of the Hill, Wilford, Out of Practice, Rules of Engagement, Lopez. Most recently, Tacoma FD. So this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to TV script writing. So we're gonna talk to him, ask him all the questions about writing scripts on TV and what's all that about and what's that like. So that's later on tonight. Real quick, some housekeeping. I was going to mention last week, if you missed last week, we had an epic holiday giveaway, crazy bonanza kind of event. We gave away
There's some bananas and everything.
It was bananas. It was banana pants. And so we gave away 3 incredible prize packages. I have not sent them out. I have not.
Oh, great.
There's a reason. I was traveling, but B, I didn't have this in hand, which our previous sponsor was so generous to donate. So the 3 prize packages have these amazing film cells. Check that out. That is this one's from oh Jesus, if I can find my goddamn camera. There it is. That's from the cartoon Wildcats, right? So we got that one. What else we got here? This is from the Street Fighter cartoon. A little Cannon the Blanca action going on there.
Yes.
And this one, which I really do like, I'm upset that I'm giving it away, is from the Spider-Man animated cartoon. And this has Spider-Man is obviously an art, what they call it, sketch? No.
Yeah. It's like
it's a
what
rough, whatever, sketch we'll call it.
They do it when they set up their scenes and shit.
Yeah. Storyboard. It's a storyboard
Yep.
image
Yep.
of Spider-Man and Iron Fist fighting, I don't know, something really big, some type of thing from the Spider-Man cartoon. And then the guy, our
Fucking
guy,
sick.
yeah, our
Love
guy, he goes, you're a Back to the Future fan, and I'm like, yeah, obviously. And he goes, hey, I'm gonna send you a little something, right? You got that? A little something?
Yeah.
It's literally like an inch and a half big, but it is the animated DeLorean from Back to the Future, the cartoon. So still, and then all of these will come with a certificate of authenticity. So you'll have that. So that's part of our amazing giveaway. So those boxes, I'll be packing them up tomorrow and sending them out. Lots of goodies in there. All types of goodies. All types of goodies I'm gonna be putting in there. So each box is gonna be well over $100 worth of value between the cells and all the stuff that's getting thrown in there. Speaking of the things that I throw in, one of my favorite things to do is to go to conventions, different events, and gather up goodies, right? So anybody that knows, I was at a convention this weekend. Shout out to hey Ben, I see you out there. Shout out to the guys did Mission City Hero Fest in San Antonio, Texas. It was a phenomenal time. I had so much fun, lots of great people, and was able to secure a few items. So check this out. I was able to, and these are things that are going to eventually end up in a prize package at some point. So we got, let's see. This is a Black Rifle coffee frag mug. So it is a coffee mug, OD green, like a frag grenade. How cool is that?
That's kind of cool.
All right, that'll go in a prize box.
Fucking vet bros, dude.
I got one of these.
We're the wrong business. We need to be on that coffee train.
Yeah, right. They were. I mean, I give them credit, man. Black Rifle Coffee was at the event, and they were just giving goodies away. They were giving away coffee, and I was like on 6 of their energy drinks. I was wired. If you saw me at the event,
yeah, dude. Are those any good? I've seen them at the gas station a couple. Okay, so like, it's no secret. I live by Sturgis, right?
Sure.
The motorcycle rally. They come out every year. Black Rifle does. The last couple years they come out. They got like a LMTV.
Mm-hmm.
They got all painted all black with like fucking coffee and shit coming out of it.
Yeah.
And so they come around and they've got their energy drinks sitting out there, and I haven't been able to get one. And they have like the ones I saw were like ice mochas or some shit.
It's like a ice mochas one, and then the
like
other
the
one.
Starbucks money shots. Are they money shots Starbucks has or whatever?
I'm not gonna say it's a money shot because I'm not gonna set myself up for that one. But
that they can use my name if they want. And we should do a collaboration with them, and they can have Radar's money shot as like one of their.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
So back to more items. So I have like one of these, which is like a Switch accessory package that has a whole bunch of accessories for a Nintendo Switch. Oh my goodness! I was also able to.
Josiah was asking what was the name of the convention again that you went to?
Oh, the name of the convention: Mission City Hero Fest. So Mission City is what? MCHF? MCHF?
Yep.
There you go. Ben put it in the chats. Got one of these, which is pretty cool. You won't find these around. This is called a a mental health kit. It has a bunch of let's see, it's from the company Guardian Mental Health. It has sensory items and support resources kit. And it comes with like a bunch of stuff that's like specifically for like gamers and to keep their, I guess, mind engaged and mental health game strong, and has a bunch of cool knickknacks. I opened one. That one's closed. What else? Oh, more things that I secured. There was an auction. You know me, I love to gamble a bit. How about a signed Margot Robbie Suicide Squad little image here.
That's fucking tight. Dude.
Certificate of authenticity included. Or
is that going in the prize box or is that going on your wall?
We'll see. We'll see. Or how about Christian Bale's Batman? I would have preferred Heath Ledger, but hard to get signatures from a dead guy. Too soon.
I mean, too soon?
Too soon.
No, not too soon at all. That was not too soon.
Christian Bale's Batman. So yeah,
actually, that's a good picture though.
That is a good picture.
That is a good picture.
That's one of the reasons why I bid on it. Also, while I was there, they had some wonderful guests to include Mr. Jonathan Joss. For those that don't recognize him, he's an actor in Parks and Recreation. He was also the voice of John Redcorn on King of the Hill. So we're gonna be talking to someone tonight who's very familiar with King of the Hill. But he was John Redcorn for I think it was like 30-something episodes on King of the Hill. He's a phenomenal guy. Going to be coming on the show here in a couple of weeks. We're working on a date. Very nice guy. So he signed the picture and also threw in this lovely King of the Grill t-shirt.
Nice.
Which
that's awesome, actually.
It was very, very nice of him. So we'll throw that in a box at some point. And then the last item, Stephanie not only. I don't know how to pronounce her name. She was the voice of Gohan, Kid Gohan. She was sometimes the voice of Goku, depending on the series, but typically known for her voice as the OG Kid Gohan, right here. And was a wonderful woman. We actually sat next to each other for quite a while throughout the event and chit-chatted. Very, very lovely woman, and will be coming on to the show sometime in the future. So we've got that as a fun giveaway as well. So lots of fun giveaway items and things.
What? I need to fucking do that. Like, I should have done that for the rally. Why didn't you remind me to get shit to give away at the motorcycle rally? Because they do all that same shit. They give out like all kinds of crazy shit. Like
that's kind of my deal, man.
You know what? I only got like 3 free things this year, right? And I basically gave them all to my son, who's stationed in Germany.
There you go. Well, there you go.
I mean,
that's the difference between me and you. I don't care about my kids. I give shit to strangers.
All kinds of stupid shit when it comes to that shit. Dude. There's like, okay, well, you want like coffee mugs and fucking.
I give shit away to strangers instead of my children.
And shit. Yeah, you give shit to strangers. I'm just like, hey kid. He's like, well, give me some like stuff. I'm like, yeah. Like, how cool? I mean, I actually have one in my garage. I should put it up in here instead of this stupid like army bullshit behind me and like my Marine Corps helicopter. It's like a big like welcome to Sturgis like Budweiser banners and shit. That's what I should put up in here.
Whale.
That looks fun.
Whale. Replying to Scott here, who says, "Did I ask her what she looks for in a guy?" All right. For those that aren't aware, that is a running joke here at the show because one time, apparently, I had a smitten look, apparently, while we did an episode. That comes from like months ago. Who were we even talking to?
That is a long time ago.
That was months and months ago. I think, was that the chick from Army of the Dead? What was her name? Oh my God, Stephanie something.
She was so fun. I'm glad she came on. She was a fun guest.
Yeah, that was a good one. So yes, and that wasn't something I said. That was something that was said that I looked like I wanted to say, which then of course made me say it because I read it, and then apparently now it's a thing that I do. No, I did not ask her what she looks for a guy. She was lovely, little above my age range. Just personally, if I'm going to step out, it's gonna be somebody a little younger. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, you were moist just hearing a name. You guys are funny. So you watched the last episode of Hawkeye?
What's that? What's a Hawkeye?
So here's the crazy thing. So last episode was a good one.
I watched it this weekend.
Yeah, it was a good one. I will say here's the thing. So rumor has it that this episode of Hawkeye
The one tomorrow.
The one tonight, later tonight, or early tomorrow, depending on what you watch it. This is a quote from people behind the scenes. They say this episode will break the internet, which everybody knows is now slang for, it's going to be huge. It's going to go viral. It's going to
be huge.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So apparently it's going to be huge. My guess is they're going to bring back Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, and that's why people are going to be like, oh my God, it's Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. That's my best guess. Obviously, we also have, Hawkeye could die. I mean, it's not likely, but if they're going that route, right, kill him off in his own series.
Know what? Okay, I'm gonna say no to Vincent D'Onofrio, and this means it's actually gonna happen. But hear me out on this one, okay? It's too obvious.
It's too obvious.
It's too obvious. Don't you think so?
I don't. In a week.
Everyone's been calling for this for. It's like the mutants in fucking. It's like Mephisto.
It's like radar and mutants in Radar and Mephisto.
Yeah, I mean seriously, like think about it for a second. Like I'm not saying I don't want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it'll be great. I think it would really evolve the MCU and tie in those other shows that people have been. Some people have been literally begging for things like the old shows to the old Netflix shows.
Yeah.
To be integrated into the MCU and done properly, right?
So the reason I think it will happen, or the stars have aligned. We know that this week, in literally like 48 hours or less, Spider-Man's coming out. And we know, well, we think we know some things, but we know for sure that we're getting villains from both of the old franchises. So what better time to line that up than to bring in Vincent D'Onofrio now, right? Because we're lining up the fact that all these characters from different universes. Now, like you said, the Daredevil series, they were always supposed to be canon, but somehow kind of got tucked under the rug. So what better time to reintroduce them into the fold when you're bringing back all these people anyway this week? You know what I mean? And trying to think if I should. So they released the first minute of the Spider-Man movie, like they as part of the marketing gimmick. They released the first minute.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there because it's kind of bullshit. Basically, the fucking trailers.
I mean,
the first minute of the show was basically a conglomeration of the trailers.
The reason I was bringing it up, here's the reason I wasn't bringing it up.
Okay.
If you look at the original first trailer and the first minute that was released, there is a key difference between them.
Oh.
And you might have missed it. You might have missed it.
Probably. I was like, this is fucking dumb. So I probably did miss it.
In the scene where he's swinging, panically to get away, right? We know that he's running away from choppers and all this stuff. There's something there that wasn't there before when the first trailers came out. A billboard for Rogers the Musical. Now, you might say that's not important. I say that is lining up what's happening in Hawkeye with what's about to happen in Spider-Man. Maybe not saying that they're happening concurrently, but saying that they happen within a small window of each other.
Ooh, maybe.
I mean, I think it's pretty on the nose.
Because here's the thing, though. That Rogers the Musical has kind of been it's not just been in Hawkeye.
No,
it's been more prevalent. It's been more prevalent.
That's the first time it was brought into the MCU.
You sure about it?
I'm sure. Sorry about it. I'm sorry about it. That is the Rogers Musical, the first time we ever heard, seen, or made aware of that. I mean, outside of Hawkeye trailers, which kind of teased it. But yeah. We'll see. Look, 48 hours from now, all the answers will be out there. And just so you guys don't know, last night they did the world premiere of Spider-Man No Way Home. They did the big red carpet in LA. I'm the huge loser that actually watched the red carpet of Spider-Man. I enjoyed it. It was everywhere, right? Whether you were on YouTube, they live streamed it on TikTok. It was live streamed on TikTok. Like, it was everywhere. Yeah, it was everywhere.
Don't fucking say that word out loud. The next thing you know, we'll be live streaming to TikTok as well.
Don't, man. Hey, man.
See?
Go where the people is. Go where the people is.
Oh my God. All right.
So anyway, so it was really, really, really well done. Lots of great things. Huh?
They're good at their pomp and circumstance and things. They're good at that shit.
Little PNC, little drill ceremony.
They're
good at that.
I'm not okay. Back to the story though. We're ahead of ourselves. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
You watched it.
I watched what?
The to-do, the pomp and circumstance.
Yes, I watched the red carpet of Spider-Man.
Red carpet
Yep.
event. Did that give you any information as to what happened to Spider-Man?
No, they were very good. The only thing that could be even considered the smallest of a spoiler was they were asking Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, they were asking, it's almost Christmas time. What would be a good gift for Spider-Man, for Peter Parker or Spider-Man? And he kind of, I don't know if he let slip, but he said, right?
He's the worst at spoiling things.
He said, well, based on how this movie ends, he's definitely going to want a new suit. And that was it. Like, he kind of left it to that. Like, he's definitely going to want a new suit. Now, that could mean it was ripped to shreds. That could mean it's outdated. That could mean, it's stinky. Like, he ends up in the garbage and is like, it was stinky. Who knows what that could mean? Obviously, the quite literal translation is that suit's going to be just, shredded by the end of this, which if he's fighting the freaking Sinister Six, it should be shredded. Which is funny because he made a comment.
Well, he's got a different one already, right? Doesn't he have a black one in part of it?
Well, yeah, he has the black one, which some people have pointed out really well that, like, if you watch the first Spider-Man movie, remember when he was like hacking into the suit because Stark put all this crazy tech in there, as he flipped it inside out, the inside was that black and gold color because it was all the conductors and stuff. So somebody was saying that, like, it might be his suit just turned inside out, or the nanotech removed from it, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So they were saying it might not actually be a new suit, but he's using it as a new suit. But anyway, I digress. Point being, he did make a comment. Funny enough, Tom Holland made a comment. I watched an interview a couple months ago, and he talked about how something that he admired from the first Spider-Man movies was when they would shoot the suit all jacked up, right? Like, it'd be like the face half torn off, the shirt ripped and everything like that. So you saw like the battle damaged Spider-Man. And he said, obviously, that's nothing they've really ever done in the MCU. So he was talking about how, like, oh man, that would be really cool to do. So I wonder now, merging that comment with this comment, maybe we'll actually get to see kind of a ripped, shredded suit Tom Holland Spider-Man in this film. So anyway, I have been very, 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 very careful because obviously the movie was shown for the first time publicly last night.
Yes.
I've been working very hard to avoid spoilers because I really want to enjoy the movie.
But I thought, okay, but that one last night, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought that's basically for insiders and stuff, right? They don't show it to just any Joe Blow off the street, or do they give so many fucking tickets? They're like, 20 tickets, like these.
You're right.
Right.
They're industry tickets. So like,
yeah,
so it's all the stars.
Don't they have to sign kind of a non-disclosure thing?
Of course.
For that deal.
Of course.
There won't actually be anyone who is, quote, able to spoil it.
Oh no, they will.
Until what, like Thursday?
No. They see. So here's the thing. Here's the double A. Yes, there's an expectation that if you come to this movie, A, it's for the stars of the movie. It's for, select members of the press. It's for certain things. But like, I was watching the red carpet. Jamie Foxx brought like 12 people. He brought he's like, this is my sister, my niece, my daughter, her friend. Like he had like a whole smorgasbord of people, with the youngest being like maybe it looked like 12, 13. So you can't tell me if they decide, like, what do they care? Like if they break an NDA, they're not in the business. They don't give a shit. There are absolutely people that are already spoiling this movie. I've already seen headlines that I didn't click on.
I wish I'd have fucking knew that, because I'd have watched them earlier today and like, been like,
don't you dare! I will mute you so fast. I will make you go away.
Thing on the bottom, then.
Hey, don't make me pop the bubble. I'll pop the bubble.
Hey, okay. Anyway, back to the story. We started out talking about Hawkeye. We talked about Hawkeye for exactly 7 seconds before you got into Spider-Man, and I know you're excited about Spider-Man.
So excited!
I'm still in the past, and we have some things to talk about with Hawkeye yet.
I guess I want to talk about Spider-Man.
First off, we didn't even talk about the other episode. We didn't even talk about the last one. You're just like, okay,
it was good. It was good.
Vincent D'Onofrio was going to be in it, and Spider-Man.
I liked the episode. It was good. Everything was fine. I mean, what? What do you want? What do you want to talk about? Like, it was good.
How about we talk about the watch a little bit?
Okay. There's a watch. Can we talk about Spider-Man now?
Jesus Christ.
All right.
A half hour before the guest, and then after that we can talk about more Spider-Man.
Okay, fine.
All right, give me 10 minutes.
Okay. You get 5. Go ahead.
Okay. Who watches this? Who watches this?
So I have a theory that we've never seen the watch before. Meaning, and by that I mean, this isn't something where like, oh, if you pay attention in that background shot of that one movie, you're going to see the watch. Like, it might be tied to a character that we know about. Like, let's say it's, one of Tony Stark's watches, or Nick Fury's watch, or whatever it is. Which, Tony Stark's the most likely candidate because it came from Avengers Tower. It is that kind of red gold, kind of gaudy kind of stuff that he's into. So that's most likely what it is.
Okay, if it was, I'm going to say no, man. I don't think it's Tony Stark's.
Okay.
I don't think it's Tony Stark's, because if it was Tony Stark's, it would have some sort of Stark tech in it, right? Like,
how do you know it doesn't?
Well, okay, if it's not, then why the fuck would you want to watch? If it's just some random ass fucking regular ass watch, why would you go through all the trouble to say I got Tony Stark's watch? If you want something, okay, Tony Stark had so much tech and military bullshit, right? So much armament stuff, right? If it is his stuff, you're going to want to have it for those kind of reasons, right? Period.
Mm.
And if you had it for those kind of reasons, okay, if I had an Iron Man suit and a fucking watch wrapped up, right? I'm going to put the fucking watch on. I'm going to beat the shit out of fucking bow and arrow, dude, and I'm going to bounce. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to fucking just leave it on some fucking shelf somewhere and be like, oh.
Well, maybe they don't know how to access it.
You put the fucking watch on and be like, suit.
I mean, one thing Tony Stark was good at was keeping stuff under key, lock and key, secrets. And even remember his watch where he did he was like, tap, tap, slide, wrist, pull over. And then that made the hand when he fought Winter Soldier. It wasn't just like push button and it worked. Like, it was the whole activation sequence to get the shit to work right.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm just
saying the prevailing theory. So look, this is the prevailing theory, and I see a few people mentioned it actually, including Leon. I see you. A few people mentioned it, that the prevailing theory that it belongs to Mockingbird, that in the comics, and on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we had Bobby Morse who played the character Mockingbird. The reason they're saying it could still be a Mockingbird is that maybe, much like the Black Widow mantle is something that's passed on or that is shared, that maybe the Mockingbird title is shared. So a lot of people are saying that it's possibly Clint Barton's wife used to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, right? Because the conversations they're having are a lot less, husband-wife, and more like, hey, did you run scenario X, and did you talk to our contacts, and so and so. So she's giving off the vibe of having tactical knowledge. So they're saying that maybe, that's a watch that has vital information on the whereabouts, right? Because she's hidden away, she's tucked away, and obviously that would be precious to someone like Clint. But I don't know. That's the prevailing theory. I don't know.
All right. Okay. So the Mockingbird is like Black Widow, where it just keeps getting, or Ronin, kind of, right? Just kind of the mantle gets getting passed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I can fall into that one. I just don't think it's Tony Stark. I think that's a stretch. I really don't. I just don't think it could be.
Yeah. I think it does belong to somebody that we know.
Okay.
I just don't think, like, I've seen people who are like, I rewatched the entire, they went back to like Captain America 1 and Iron Man 1 to try to find that watch. And like, I don't think it's something that we've seen on screen before. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It's a MacGuffin. It's a MacGuffin. That's what we'll talk to our screenwriter guy today. It's a MacGuffin. It's a thing that exists solely to push the narrative forward in the story. So It's a thing for them to fight over. And they'll tie it to some type of importance.
It's really not that important.
Right.
All right, then.
They just need a thing to fight over. Like, they needed a thing that would...
When we get to the fight. Then we get to the fight. Let's fast forward to the fight, then.
That's what I'm saying.
How come she didn't bust a fucking arrow into Yelena?
That, for me, as a viewer, and I'd love to talk to the screenwriter, that is a callback. When she asked, when Kate asked Hawkeye, what's the best shot you've ever taken? He said, it's the one I didn't take. And then it basically explains to her that, like, I looked into this person's eyes and I realized they didn't want to be part of that life. And so what happens in that moment is Kate pulls. She makes eye contact with Yelena, and Yelena gives her the little head nod, like, don't do it. And she made that choice that Hawkeye made, which was put it down without even knowing that this is a Black Widow, the same way he had a Black Widow. But she made that similar choice. And I think it's just tying those two parts of the story together.
Yeah, but okay, she was pretty actively fighting her at the time.
Yeah. Right. But minutes before that bitch had kicked her off a roof, but made sure to anchor her in first. She could have killed her. She could have threw her right off that roof. Kate Bishop dead. But she didn't.
But why didn't she? I guess this is where it just seems fishy to me.
Because she's there in her mind, she's there on an assignment to go after Clint Barton, and her motivation, as we saw from the end of Black Widow, is because she has been told Clint Barton was directly responsible for her sister's death. So this is personal, like it's a mission first, but it's also personal second. Kate Bishop has nothing to do with that. She's just some girl running around with a bow and arrow. So that's why she whipped her ass.
Right. Okay, but hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. Okay. She has a mission to accomplish, right?
Sure.
Doesn't seem like the kind of person to let a little girl stand in her way of completing that mission.
Which is why she threw her off a roof.
Right.
Mm-hmm. To get her out of the way. But she didn't need to kill her.
Then he was back, but then she comes back because she's retarded.
Sure.
He comes back, and then he's like, "All right, bitch, I fucking gave you a chance. Now, blah blah, be done."
Yeah, I mean, that's what that nod told me, like, dude, you pull that and you're gonna regret it. Like, you know what I mean? You let that arrow fly, you're gonna regret it. That's what that look gave me. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. I will not be held liable for how you die because you shoot an arrow at me. You know what I mean? And
all right, then. All right.
You're reading too much into it, man. You're reading too much into it.
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not, dude. I just don't. I feel like there's more. Marvel's not just gonna fucking throw her in for a 45-second fight scene or a 2-minute fight scene and be like, "All right, now it's done. Bye, see ya."
There's more to come.
There's more coming, and I think there's more to it.
Sure.
They did too much. They set up too much for it to not be halfway important.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue that point.
Because and here's everything too. Okay, so fucking Echo sitting there with the fucking arrow in her shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Burned away. Obviously not dead, right? And then Kate Bishop is fine. Hawkeye's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking everyone's
fine is a stretch, but yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like no one's really fucking hurt or some shit. Like, I
Sure.
don't know, dude. It just seems like that was a lot of effort and setup and everything for it to not be something bigger.
There's more coming. They've already said the next episode will break the internet. It's gonna be huge.
I don't think it's gonna be Kingpin.
Okay.
You know what I think it is? Hear me out on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mephisto. Got it.
From someone smarter than me, so it's got to be true. Okay, they're staying in an apartment, right? Whoever's in the apartment's not home.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That person is Val.
I've heard that theory. I don't like it.
It's Val's apartment.
I don't like it.
Why not?
So I've heard the theory.
Hear me out. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You've heard the theory, so let's air it out a little bit. It's Val's apartment. She went to go get Yelena because Hawkeye is getting too close to the whole fucking system that Kingpin's got going. I don't think Kingpin's on a thing. Okay. Kingpin's got some good shit going with this, right? Okay. And Hawkeye was not supposed to be part of the interference into this, right? Now Hawkeye's in there fucking with some shit and dragging fucking what's her nuts into it, right? And they're making a big thing. Okay, they're making a big stink. Now it's like, hey, they get rid of Hawkeye, we'll fucking straighten some shit out. You know what I mean? Like that theory sounds more plausible to me. Because if it just pans tomorrow, right, or this after, or I'm not saying up till 1 a.m. to watch it. You can if you want. I'm not going to.
No.
But if they just pan into Vincent D'Onofrio sitting there at the fucking desk, and
I'm saying there's gonna be more to it. I'm just saying that's one piece of what's gonna happen. I'm not saying that's the end all be all. You know that the episode's gonna be about. There's gonna be a lot that happens in the episode. Scott, great point. Because we know you love your mutants. He says, "What if it's Wolverine's apartment and this is how they introduce mutants?"
Oh, I love it.
Wolverine in drag. He's been in drag this whole time.
But she did say Kate Bishop said it was her aunt's apartment.
She doesn't know. Maybe
she said
maybe Wolverine has been parading as a woman this whole time.
And you know what? Hey,
don't know.
Marvel has kind of been talking about changing some characters around. So maybe Wolverine's
a couple gender bit. No, I know what you're saying. I know the Val theory. I've heard it.
But I mean, does that not sound? That sounds very plausible.
But it's too wrapped up in a bow. It's too wrapped. What are the infinitesimally small?
And fucking Kingpin tomorrow is not all just wrapped up pretty in a bow.
Listen.
Okay.
What are the infinitesimally small odds that Val wants Hawkeye dead and Hawkeye stumbles upon Kate, who's Kate's niece?
No, back the truck up.
Okay.
Who was Kate's mom on the phone with?
Kingpin,
Val.
probably.
Her sister-in-law, Val.
Okay.
She calls Val, hey, we got some issues. We got a fucking Avenger just in my fucking house. He's gonna fuck up our whatever we got going on here. Because I'm sorry, she's got to be fucking crooked.
I agree. That I can agree with. Yeah.
So she is tied into people, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's tied into Aunt Val. She's like, hey, what can you do to get Hawkeye off this fucking case? We've got some shit going on. There's some problems going on.
Okay.
So that's
all
who she was on the phone with.
That's all good and well.
Because she was supposed to be on holiday. What's holiday? Christmas. What's going on in all this thing? Christmas, right?
Sure.
Okay. She's on holiday.
Here's
Al comes up and says, hey, you want to kill your sister's fucking killer? Right here. Boom. There he is. He's in New York right now watching a musical. Go fucking take care of it.
Okay. So again, very neat, all tied up in a bow. That could be. I could be wrong, and that could be what happens. I don't think it will. Everything we've seen of Valentina Contesta de la Cruz, whatever her name is.
Consuela.
That apartment is a raggedy ass piece of crap for someone who looks like she has an entire penthouse suite kind of. She gives off that vibe.
Have you not seen the property fucking values in New York City?
Sure. But she's like, if you remember when they were outside, it's like Chinatown. It's like a small place inside of Chinatown. That doesn't scream Val to me.
That's also where you lay low. And it's a pretty swanky apartment. It's decorated very eccentric with some movie posters and shit.
Not the way Val has come off in any way. She is sleek. She just decked to the nine. She is. I mean, it could be a safe house. Greg's got a point. It could be a safe house. It could be. Yeah. It could be her undercover. This is my family safe house. Sure.
Because it's still a nice enough place. It's still a nice enough place.
Here's the big reason I don't believe it's true. You ready for it? This is the smoking gun. Why I think that theory is malarkey. You ready?
Okay. I'm listening. Let's do it.
The people behind Black Widow, the people that made that movie, the people that shot the post-credit scene with both Val and Yelena,
yes,
never told the Hawkeye writers that they did that scene. Never. It came out that the writers had no idea. The writers knew to bring Yelena into the story. They knew that. Yeah. That was in the cards.
Uh-huh.
They did not know a scene was shot between Yelena and Val.
I don't think that's it, dude.
That's
not compelling because you can still write. Fucking Foggy can go down. So this is what I want to happen.
How would you write that Val is her aunt in the thing? And
you don't have to say but you can have Aunt Val in this program, right? And it doesn't have to be that other post credit scene. You don't have Feige can come down and say, you know what, I want Yelena to fucking fight Hawkeye, and I want Val to be the aunt. Mm-hmm. That's all you gotta fucking say. And there's some collaboration there, right? They may not know exactly what was written in that scene or that exact scene was filmed.
These guys plan everything to the finite detail.
But not the writers. The writers don't write all of the same things, right? They're given a script or from whoever, I'm guessing probably Kevin Feige or someone along that level, right? Sure. Somewhere in the director-producer chain. They're coming from the top. They're saying they have their storyboards and they have their things, and then the writers kind of fill in the blanks, right?
I mean,
to an extent, they're given direction, and then the writers fill in the blanks.
Look what Scott's saying. Scott, I think you're spot on. Why would it be Val's? She's part of some type of shadow government. What government lives in a shitty apartment? That's what I'm saying. I've worked for the government for nearly 20 years, and I'd be happy to have a shitty apartment. You're not putting together a superhuman hero / villain team, are you? Okay, then.
The superheroes can't even afford to fix their fucking shitty ass shrimp boats, can they?
Okay, that was a Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm like, where did you pull that out of? Yeah,
I'm just saying, you can't tell me all these motherfuckers are rich when he can't afford to write a check to fix his shrimp. I'm just saying.
And
fucking Hawkeye is going around having to fucking beg for free meals from people. Right?
Oh, man.
I'm done. I win.
Can we move on now?
Fine, yeah.
Because here's the thing.
This weekend, I hear a movie's coming this weekend.
Yeah, The Wonderful Life of speaking of Spider-Man, since you brought it up, the only thing I was going to mention that I haven't mentioned already is that I found it fascinating. They were talking to Benedict Cumberbatch on the red carpet, and he talks about, and which, by the way, he was great with the fans. Like,
he always is.
He was so good. Like, he stopped with like every person on the whole red carpet. Like, he took time to take pictures and all that. Looked like a lot of fun. And they were talking to him, and he made the comment. He goes, "It's really weird being here because I'm still in it." And it took me a minute to understand what he was saying, and he kind of explained it when he said that, like, we filmed this a long time ago, but I'm currently filming Doctor Strange. So, like, here I am promoting, Doctor Strange is in this movie, but I'm also filming Doctor Strange. Now, the crazy thing is, Doctor Strange 2 wrapped principal photography months ago. But like we talked about a couple weeks ago, they're in the middle or towards the end of a 6-week reshoot, which makes me a little nervous. And a reshoot in the movie, this late in the game, but there's still time. They pushed it back to May, so there's still time. So he said it's weird, and you can kind of see like the way his hair is cut, the way his facial hair was, that he's kind of like in Doctor Strange mode, Which, by the way, the funniest thing is I'm laying in bed and I'm watching the red carpet on my phone, and my wife's there trying to go to sleep, and I'm like, oh look, it's Jamie Foxx. Oh look, it's Zendaya. Oh look, is it? And she's like, she doesn't care. But then I was like, oh look, it's Tom Holland, so she listens in because it's Spider-Man. And she goes, he's British? I said, yes, he's English. It's like, interesting. And then Benedict Cumberbatch came right after. She goes, wait a minute, he's English too? I said, yes, he is. I said, a lot of these actors, a lot of the big names in these series are English. Chris Hemsworth is obviously Australian, and you have these guys from all over the place. Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. But she just thought it was funny that a few of the people in a row were all kind of the British people coming in and talking. But anyway, where were we at with that? I've completely lost my train of thought now.
Tiger King.
Tiger King, yes. By the way,
you were talking about everyone being English.
Yeah, everyone's English. Everyone's English. But yeah, no. I'm excited. I'm so pumped. I'm gonna see Spider-Man on Thursday.
How many times are you gonna see it?
Before our next episode, or like in total?
Before next. Well, I know the little snafu there. Well, okay, between now and the next episode, between now and this time next week,
probably 3 times, if not 4.
All right.
I have tickets for 4 different showings between now and our next episode. I have 4 sets of tickets. I'm probably going to see it 3 times and give the other tickets away.
Do that as a giveaway for the fucking thing.
You just got to fly to where I'm at. To see the movie.
Yeah, they probably got to be I don't know. I'm going to Google it. So if my face is really bright, it's going to have Google up.
Mm-hmm. What are you Googling?
I'm going to see if I can still buy tickets.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Look, okay, I'm talking about our fucking little shit ass fucking.
Hey, go ahead, try.
Theater near me.
Try.
Yeah, they're not even open. Northern Hills Cinema, 4:15.
Well.
Oh, yep, I can still get tickets for the 4:15 show. I'll be at work though, 7:30. Reserve seating. Still have tickets.
Yeah, but is it like in the corner? Like you have to watch it like from the front corner seat?
Oh, hold on. I hope is that over my thing?
It's no, I see you.
All right, good.
You're fine.
I don't know. Anyway, but okay, well, I don't give a shit. If I'm in the corner, I can still fucking see.
I mean, if you want to see it in a shooting scene, that was your business. I don't, whatever, man.
Look, okay, here's the deal. The theater that's like down the street from my house, that's really open only 3 fucking days a week. Do you think that there's actually a good seat in the place? That's not sticky and covered in fucking old cum.
There's
a bunch of gum underneath the fucking
There's
thing.
a difference between a good viewing angle and a good seat.
They all fucking suck, dude. It's the same.
There are good viewing angles, like if you want, like if you're in you want where the middle where the sound is equally like you're in the center, and then you're not moving your head around. You want to just like straight ahead.
Here's the thing, and this is where we differ as people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit about that. Don't, because here's the deal. Okay, if I sit there and it's quiet, all I hear is ee! In my ears anyway, right? So it doesn't fucking matter. I'm half deaf. I don't even really have stereoscopic hearing anymore. So I really should probably get a fucking hearing aid. Like Greg said, it's not IMAX or whatever. It's going to be fucking shit anyway. Honestly, the movie quality is probably better in my living room with my fucking 65-inch or 70-inch fucking television hanging on my wall. Two
sets of my tickets are for IMAX Dolby Atmos, which is the one that gives you speakers that go like directly overhead and behind, so that you get like the full 360 sound.
Yeah, like Joe. So, I'm gonna be in the Pee Wee Herman seats.
All right, that's
for matters. Not in South Dakota, Scott. Basically, all there is here, it's like an old wooden bench. It's basically it's the old seats from the high school auditorium. they ripped out and fucking bolted to the floor at this shitty ass old drive-in. They just put a roof over. No, it's no fun. Dude, my theater here sucks.
You guys are too much. You
Thanks,
guys
Norton
are
Hills.
too much.
They
Yeah.
don't know why they're going broke. I don't fucking figure it out. But anyway, back to the story. I could probably has holes in the fucking wall and just watch them outside.
Greg, you are so spot on, brother.
The show, yeah, you're goddamn right. It has. You're welcome. Okay. Anyway, back to the story.
Lost all bearing of what's going on.
Anyway,
Which, by the way, so if anybody's interested in co-hosting Pop Culture Warrior, we're gonna be holding open casting calls. We'll be doing them right there, back there on the couch. We'll be doing casting calls for Pop Culture Warrior.
Actually, I think in all fairness, aren't we still kind of looking for some co-hosts?
We're always looking for people. We're always looking for people.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, we are.
Always. Holes in the wall. What kind of establishments are you going to, Radar? Comment of the night right there.
Hey, he's not wrong, dude. He's not wrong. WTFNationRadio.com.
What are you applying?
Well, no, I'm going to put in the link so people can apply. Gee.
He's like, let me see if there's another show I can go to.
Wow. I need to talk to somebody about updating that picture because I'm considerably fatter in this bin now. Holy shit. If you want something fun, listeners, go to WTFNationRadio.com/team members page and look at the picture of CQ on that motherfucker.
First of all, fuck you very much.
What are you, 12 in that picture, dude? What?
What are you talking about? I have a beard. A beard in that picture.
Your beard in that picture and the beard I'm looking at right now are two distinctly different colors, sir.
I think the whole point. So I don't even think that is if I remember correctly.
Backwards.
Yeah, man.
That's how old it is. That's
First of all, no, that is my stage persona. I was doing comedy in that picture. So when I do comedy, it's flannel, backwards cap.
Okay, was it either a long time ago before you had the black and before you had
2.5 years ago?
You have a salt and pepper beard now, dude.
It's an animated picture. What are you talking about?
It's not animated.
Okay, hold on a second. It's one of those like I know I did the picture, man. Now you're gonna make me do.
It's not an animated picture, sir. That is not.
I'm not animated in the sense of motion. Animated in the sense of like it's altered.
To be replaced by every comment he makes. Well, if you'd like to replace me, here's the link.
That is an animated photo. What are you talking about? I made this picture. It's an animation filter. Hey, you needed new glasses there, buddy.
I do. Mine are dirty.
Yeah, that's a. I took a regular picture and I put it through an animated filter, so it looks like a cartoon picture. So that's why you don't see any of the gray, because it's a cartoon filter.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. You look like ridiculous.
Telling me
I don't look any better either. That picture, seriously, that one of me is, oh God, I got rid of that motorcycle in 2015.
You have,
and I just bought it. I think that's in 2010 or 11. That's like a 10-year-old picture.
Mine's only like 2.5. So you know what? And yes, Leon, it was at Dog Tag Bakery.
Like 10 years and 60 pounds ago. Pretty sure about it.
Yeah, that was he called it. That's Dog Tag Bakery. Good eye, man. Good eye. That was Dog Tag Bakery. I was performing comedy there.
What's it? Is this cup two? Is that 2 comics, 1 cup? Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called?
Okay, gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? No.
There's like two
either your computer screen is as good as that theater you go to, or you need new glasses. Clip 2 comic. It was a filter to make it look more comic booky.
Oh. All right then.
All right, we're going to break. God damn it! This is enough of this. We're going to break. What time is it? I don't even care what time it is. We're gonna go to break, and when we come back, we're gonna have Michael Jamin and some appropriate conversations.
And does he have a brother named Ben?
No, I'm not. No, don't do shitty puns. We're above that. We're above that.
I am not above that at all.
We're above that on this channel. All right. I don't need shit puns. See, Kaz knows. Are you trying to get fired?
I'm trying to get fired for what? Making fun of your pitcher?
Like, hey, you're making fun of everything. Anyway,
actually,
all right.
Actually, Kaz has probably the best pitcher of the group.
Of course.
He's getting eaten by a T-Rex. But look at our pitchers. We're stoic.
I mean, sure.
I should find a better pitcher though.
I think we all need better pictures, to be honest.
No, actually, you know what? Kaz and Mom look great. Pookie just looks like Pookie, and then we kind of look. I don't know.
You know
we
what?
Need work.
I don't.
You know what? Your pitcher's fine with your two comics. One. I need a pitcher that's not 10 years old. I still have that coat, by the way. I like that coat.
Anyway,
all right,
guys, this has been fun. We're going to take a little break now. And when we come back from that break, we're going to get back to what we do best. Talk when Radar's not here.
It's a constant sit by Radar.
We're going to have TV scriptwriter, producer extraordinaire, Michael Jamin on the show here in a few minutes when we come back. And until after the interview, say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
All right, guys, we'll be back right after this. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Pop Culture Warrior. I am CQ. I am super excited for tonight's guest. We got a really, really great one. My guest tonight has been writing for television since 1996. His many credits include Just Shoot Me, King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, Wilford, Out of Practice, Rules of Engagement, Lopez, and most recently Tacoma FD. He's also served as an executive producer and showrunner on multiple shows. If you're interested in getting into the screenwriting business or just general storytelling advice, you can check out his online course on his website or follow his hilarious and insightful social media accounts pretty much anywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even TikTok. So guys, please welcome the incredible Michael Jamin. Yay!
Thank you.
I gotta do like a round of applause thing. One day I'm gonna have a button just so you, yay! Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh man, you have no idea how excited I am. I'm just to give you a little bit of understanding is that I started this whole podcast. I started this whole show because it's not even a podcast anymore. Live stream, talk show, entertainment, variety show. Because I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that loves TV, loves movies, loves entertainment. And I'm fascinated not just by, you know, the actors, who are incredible and portray these amazing characters, but I'm fascinated by the direction, the production, the writing of it. We've talked to stuntmen, we've talked to producers and writers and all types of people, and it is mind-blowing the level of effort that goes behind some of our favorite shows or least favorite shows. So this is my opportunity to kind of geek out over the behind the scenes of everything and mine for all the gold out there and obviously take the audience with me, which everybody's saying hi, by the way. So, okay. First question, same as always for everyone that comes on the show. What is your connection to the military in general?
Well, I'm sure your entire audience has heard of Private First Class Jerry Jamin. There's got to be a statue somewhere. So my dad, he served, and my uncle served. This is back in the '60s. That's my connection. And of course, and I have my father-in-law's old army jacket, which I wear, and I look like a psychopath when I walk around town with that. You don't mess with someone wearing a jacket like that.
Yeah, is it the old? Is it the OD green, all green, or is it like the fatigued camouflage?
Yeah, no, it's all green, but it's like Taxi Driver. It's that kind of like it's size, and it's like a raincoat thing that I wear, but it doesn't rain here much. But yeah, people leave me alone when I wear that. I like that.
All right, right on. Well, thank them. We thank them for their service, and that's a great connection. I mean, do you was that part of growing up? Did you hear stories or things like that, or it was kind of on the fringe.
Going to bed, it was all my father's telling me stories like, what happened in the army. He was getting yelled at by his drill sergeant. All his stories, you would have thought my father loved basic training. Like he hated it, but when you listen to his stories, this is the best time. Like he has nothing but fond stories, but I think he hated every minute of it.
Yeah, that you've just summed up the military experience in general. It's literally we just bitch the whole time, and then afterwards you go, really miss those times. Those are good times. And we can get into a whole side conversation of why I don't think there's a lot of great entertainment out there that captures the true experience of the military, life. But I mean, that's a whole separate, convoluted, complicated why.
You need more writers, people like yourself who get out of the military, write, because that's what you guys know. Whoever's you're listening to, if obviously you did, you served, write about it, man. Your experiences, the stories that you guys have are better than anything we can make up.
That is true. And I'm a big, during this show, we've also touched a lot on like mental health and overcoming things like PTSD and TBI and these things. And one thing that I always recommend to people is dabbling in the arts. Whether you are artistic in the sense of you like to draw, or you're artistic in the sense you like to write poetry, whatever it is, it's such a great outlet for a lot of that emotional turmoil and the things. But out of that also, I know some incredible service members, men, women, who went on to I have a good friend who's written for like off Broadway. She's taken her experiences and put them on paper and won like those local festivals and writing competitions and things like that. So it's such a cool thing. And I couldn't agree with you more that those experiences are amazing in it. And obviously getting it out is very cathartic as well.
I also think that like people who serve, like, I guess I wish you guys would wear something more so we know, because I think we all I want that. It's such an I want to hear about that. I want to talk to you about your experience. Like, geez, you guys, I mean, heroes is like, whatever, it's overused, but
sure.
So there's nothing more noble to serve than to serve your country. And Jesus, dangerous, and they don't pay you enough. I know that. So I mean, but if you had some kind of, I don't know, badge that was obvious or something, you don't have to carry a flag, just something a little more.
Right, like a pin or something, like a button.
Yeah, a button. Say, hey man, look what I did. Then I'm like, I'd want to talk more about you.
Right. They gotta corral us in a little area so everybody can, like a zoo. They can just come and visit. Okay, we've gone way off tangent here. Welcome to the show. So, I did a little bit of digging, and I read somewhere that your first job in Hollywood was serving frozen yogurt at a place called Humphrey Yogurt.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was that was rough. I mean, you had, and that was literally in Beverly Hills, but it wasn't like I wouldn't say it's my first job in Hollywood just because it was Humphrey Yogurt. It was one of my first jobs working in Hollywood.
Right. Right. So where do you come from originally? Where was your roots in LA, or do you come from somewhere else in the country?
I grew up in New York, and then after college, I moved out to LA to try to make it as a TV writer.
I mean, are we talking? Because I'm from New York, but when I say that, I mean New York City. So
yeah, I'm half hour north of the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always find that it's great when people are like, yeah, I'm from New York. Where? Buffalo. Like, no, you're not from New York.
No. I say that because my dad worked in the city. We used to go to the city, but I was about a half-hour train ride.
Sure. Why LA? I mean, obviously New York has a very big scene as far as, I mean, I get it. If you're trying to get into making script writing and making shows, LA is kind of the place for that. But was there ever a thought that, oh, maybe I can crack my teeth in New York City?
I remember asking one of the first people I knew was like, I knew through a friend of a friend, like I knew an agent, and I asked her that question: do I have to move to LA? Because I wanted to stay in New York. She goes, nope, you have to go to LA. And I was like, there's no choice. If you want to work in TV, you have to go to LA. There is some production that's done in New York, but the writing is almost always done out here. And okay, so maybe you can you can get a couple of jobs in New York, but you can't put together a career in New York. It's very hard.
Right.
It's really hard to do that.
Yeah, because you hear a lot about how, or maybe the typical person doesn't. I do. A lot of stuff is shot in Vancouver. A lot of stuff is shot in Atlanta, right? Because of all the tax breaks and things.
Right.
But even in those situations, is the majority of the writing being done in LA and then just the shooting of it in those places?
Yeah, like Handmaid's Tale, I believe they write that here. Same thing with Breaking Bad. I believe they wrote that here in the valley somewhere, and they shot that in New Mexico. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So as I understand it, you kind of started out because a retired sitcom writer was offering screenwriting classes, and so he's you were obviously already interested in doing it. But that's where, your writing got honed and kind of doors got open for you.
Well, I wanted to learn not from a professional teacher. I wanted to learn from someone who had done it. I got real lucky. I found this guy. This is before the internet. Like, how do you find this guy? But I moved out here, and then in circles and talking to people, this guy's name came up. And so, yeah, he wrote on like the original Twilight Zone, Andy Griffith Show, Get Smart, like all my favorite shows from that era he wrote on. And then he was just retired now, and he taught classes like in his dining room on the weekends. And like that's who I wanted to learn from, someone who had done because that's the job I want. I wanted to be a sitcom writer.
Sure. Yeah. You don't want to learn from I like that. You don't want to learn from a teacher. You want to learn from a doer, a guy who's been there and done that. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes total sense. And guys in the chats, lots of comments, but if you guys have questions for Michael Jamin, throw them in the chats. We'll get them answered as we continue on. So as I was looking, the first credit I could find for you was 1995, an episode of Lois and Clark: New Adventures of Superman.
Right.
How did that become a reality? Because that was a pretty big show while it was on. I mean, that's a big place to get a start.
Yeah. I was an assistant. I broke in as an assistant to these two writers, executive producers, and they were doing a different show. But I stayed in touch with them. I worked for them for maybe a year or two, and I answered their phone and I got them lunch. I wasn't even good at that. But they were nice to me. And then they took over. They ran Lois and Clark, and I had a writing partner then. I still do. I said, "Can we pitch you an episode?" And so they said, sure. And that's like a big deal to be able to pitch an episode. And they let us pitch, and they bought one. We brought 5 ideas. They bought one, and then we wrote it. And that was like that's a big deal. Your first one is a big deal.
Yeah. And can you, again, I know a little bit, but for the general audience, can you explain the idea of pitching 5 episodes and then they buy one? Because, like, I understand how big of a concept that is, but it might be lost on some people.
Well, with Superman, it was really hard because there's certain, like, they said, okay, come and pitch ideas. They said, you can't, nothing with kryptonite and nothing with, I can't remember what the term they used, but it was like, death traps. In other words, they heard a lot of ideas where if Superman landed on this plate and he flew off it, that would set off a bomb on the other side of the world and killing 100 people or whatever. And so they'd heard that idea a million times. So he couldn't do either of those two. And I remember talking with my partner, and he said, we're trying to think of ideas. He goes, that's Superman. He's such a damn goody two-shoe. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's hard to come up with stories because he's so perfect and he's such a goody two-shoe. And I was like, yeah. And that triggered something in me. I remember in the shower, I go, that's a good idea. Like, I had this idea, and then we worked on it together. But the idea basically came from, what if someone slapped him with a paternity suit, and that would really hurt his feelings because he's such a goody two. I would never have premarital sex because that's Superman. He wouldn't do that. And that became the idea that they bought because that's how that unlocked that. That's my partner saying that really unlocked the character for me.
Yeah, that's the idea of that is just so wild out of there. I love it.
Because it's darker. Superman really isn't. He's like, he's my least favorite superhero because he's so perfect.
I could not agree with you more. Like, as hey, the character's iconic, lots of respect and credit. But man, you can't be a more perfect. And he's not human. That's the thing. He's not human. But you couldn't be a more perfect human. He doesn't have an impure thought in his body. It's like, my God, you know.
Right. Right.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's just a little too chiseled and perfect. I liked, and I think me personally, just growing up, I liked more of the Marvel characters. They were more flawed. They were, Iron Man's an alcoholic, and Peter Parker's broke and always bad luck, and like all these characters are so flawed. They feel real, versus these gods among men. Anyway, I digress. So yeah. Okay. So the other thing I want to touch on that you were talking about is the idea of a writing partner. Most people are going to say, okay, I'm a writer. I write the stuff, I sell it or I shoot it or whatever it is. What is, for you, what does it mean to have that writing partner? What is that relationship like?
It's like a marriage. It's like, I've been working with him my whole career. So you're talking about close to 30 years. And we broke in together, basically. And we were teamed up we had the same agents. So we teamed up together as opposed to competing with each other. And we do everything together. Every single project we do together. And that's just it. With comedy, it's a little more important than drama, although there are drama teams, because you don't know if it's funny until the guy sitting across you or the woman sitting across you laughs. And then you go, okay, that's funny. So I think it's a little more important with, for comedy.
Sure. No, I do stand up comedy, and one of the things is like, you have these ideas, you write these jokes, and you're like, oh, that's a killer. And then you start talking with your comedy friends, and they're like, "Dude, that's garbage. Like that's not funny at all." And you're like, "Oh, yeah, I knew that. I was just testing to see if you still were funny." So okay, great. Yeah, we a couple months ago we had on Carter Bays, who co-created How I Met Your Mother, and talking to him about his writing partner and how they stay. Like it makes sense when you have that person that you trust. You've built a relationship that goes back and forth, and can be honest when you need them to be honest, and like not really worry about the whole hurt feelings thing. It pays off. Yeah,
ego goes out the window.
That's great. So from there, you start working on Just Shoot Me, which you did for about 4 years.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Because I can't imagine, with all the characters and the David Spade and a lot of the people that were on that show. That must have been interesting to write for.
That was my real big break, because then I was on staff. The Superman was just a freelance episode. This was my first staff job, and I was doing a sitcom, which is what I wanted to do. That was like I was in heaven. We're in that comedy room. The writers' room was, to this day, one of the best I've ever worked in terms of the sheer talent. And I was intimidated because everyone was so funny. Oh, I'm talking about the writers. The actors were terrific. The actors were lovely. We got lucky because, sometimes an actor can be a diva, but everyone in that cast was just lovely, great people to work with, just friendly. And we had a reunion a couple of years ago. It was really a great experience. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's what you want to hear. So I do have a question from the chat from Greg. He I guess there's a two-part question. So the first one is, current show that would be on your bucket list to write for. So I guess if you could choose a show to write for, what show would it be?
Well, I'm currently writing a show called Tacoma FD. We're going to our 4th season. We start in a couple of weeks writing that. So I don't know what to say. Like I some shows that I love. I think Barry is fantastic. I watch a lot of dramas, which I really enjoy watching drama, but I don't want to be a drama writer. So I'm not sure if this is the best question for me to answer.
No, absolutely. Go for it.
A lot of shows that are fantastic, I would not want to write. Like comedy show, I would not want to write for, because I could tell that, I could just tell it'd be really a nightmare situation to work on a show like that. But yeah, I like a lot of dramas. Sorry, Greg.
No, it's a funny thing, and I've seen this happen before, where I don't know if I was talking to a writer or a director or an actor, and I asked, oh, what would you like to be on? And they go, oh, there's so many shows that I love, but I wouldn't want to be on it because I would bring the quality down. Like it's such self-deprecating. They're like, oh, I couldn't act with those actors, or I couldn't write with those writers, or whatever it was. I just, there's a great self-deprecation thing there. I think it was an actor. I want to say it was an actor. It was like, I can't compete with those guys. So the other question was, Are you a fan of reboots? So I guess, obviously we live in an age where everything's getting resequeled and rebooted and refranchised and all these things. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't like them. I mean, I get why they do them. It's because they're much easier to market
Sure.
uh, than a remake or a reboot. Like I'm just not a fan of it. So yeah, I mean, most writers want to create original stuff. They don't want to reimagine. I think most writers. So, but you got to go with it. I get why they do it. You got to pay
Right.
the bills. And
Well, there's the built-in fan base. I mean, there's like the nostalgia.
I mean, you'll screw that up. But you write the next Star Wars episode, and people will hate you because you ruined the franchise. So I don't think any writer really wants to go down that route.
You know what I mean? How do they get this stuff? How do they get this stuff made if nobody wants to do it? I agree with you. I'm like, if they asked
because
me,
you open up a checkbook, and that's why. I mean, hey, listen, open the checkbook, and I forget this conversation ever happened. So,
you know what? Fair point. Because I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan. Like I've seen them all. I love them all. Favorite character. I have a million ideas of what a great Spider-Man story could be for a movie or a show. But if they asked me to do it, I'd be like, no, God, no. I mean, I'm not a writer, but I would be terrified to with something you're so passionate about to be attached to it. That would terrify me. So there you go, Greg. Great question. More questions coming in. Keep keep asking questions, guys. Okay, so we talked about Just Shoot Me, which incredible. I'm so happy that it was a positive experience because there were some great people on that show. Then you went on and you've done a lot of things. I'm just kind of pinpointing the things that I like here. King of the Hill. You got to. What was the transition like writing for live action and then switching gears and writing for animation?
well, to be honest, when you think about it, Just Shoot Me was more of a cartoon than King of the Hill. Because King of the Hill is very real, very grounded.
Sure.
It almost didn't need to be animated. You could, there's very little about that show that, wasn't like no one's head blew up or anything. So it was about writing smaller stories and not being concerned with the number of sets because you can go on, you could draw whatever you want. But if you know a story, if you understand story structure, it really doesn't matter whether you're writing a cartoon or animation show or live action, a single camera, multi-camera movie. It's all story is story. So, but I learned a ton on King of the Hill. I really learned about story, more about story structure working on King of the Hill than is on Just Shoot Me. And that's because I was a younger writer on Just Shoot Me, and I didn't really have to understand story as well. I just relied on the higher up writers.
Right, and I'm curious too, like in a live action, in something like Just Shoot Me, is there more room for an actor, let's say, to improvise or ad lib kind of certain things, whereas animation, is it a little bit more like, hey, hit the words?
No, I mean, on Just Shoot Me, they stuck to the script. If an actor had a problem with a line, we would rewrite it, but it was always, they'd stick to the script. Or if a line didn't work on the floor, we would rewrite the line. So there wasn't a lot of ad libbing on Just Shoot Me. On other shows that I've done, sometimes we'll leave more room for ad libbing. When my partner and I did Marin, some parts were ad libbed on that show. So, but like when we write the script, we go, okay, it's okay if this part's ad libbed. It wasn't the whole thing, just parts of it.
Gotcha. And I'm curious too because and forgive me, I don't recall, but was Just Shoot Me done in front of like the live studio audience, or so it was? Okay, yeah. So that's got to be a difference. As a writer, are you there on those like the shoot nights? Are you there in front of the audience? Because that's got to be.
Hi, I'm looking good. Yeah.
You got
Or and we're I mean that's shoot night. That's always exciting and fun. But after a long week, yeah.
Right. So I'm curious, because that's got to be a different type of conclusion to the writing effort, right? Because when you see it being performed almost as live theater versus like, I mean, are you part in the sound studio? Are you watching the guys for like King of the Hill? Were you watching them record lines, or was it just?
For the ones we wrote, I didn't direct any on King of the Hill, but other animation shows, animated series I've directed the actors. But yeah, on a multi-camera show like Just Shoot Me, shot in front of a live audience, so there's no laugh track. Like people are in the audience and they have microphones overhead, and we're recording their laughter and we're using those laughs. So it's not like it's canned or anything. And if a joke tanks on the floor, then you got to think of something on the spot and you do a quick rewrite. And you're always the audience is there, and like the actors are feeding off the energy, and the writers are hopefully, I remember one time we were on an episode that did not go over well. I was like, oh my, it was like I was sweating the whole time because I could just tell the audience wasn't into it. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it because that's such a level of pressure where we've written this thing, and then if it falls flat, and I mean, maybe it's not the actors, maybe it's not the writing. Maybe you just got a bad audience.
And that could happen. But yeah, it's weird. You're working on this thing for months or weeks at least, and then for it to not go over well. But when then you watch it on the air and it actually turned out okay. Sometimes you could just tighten things up and it worked out fine. So
okay, all right, fair enough. From Scott in the chats, do writers need to do their own research, or do they have resources in which there's a specialist to consult? For example, if you're writing a show about space travel, the mechanics of space engines or advanced tech needed to be somewhat reasonable or plausible.
Yeah, like I think on The Big Bang, they had the consultant there who a science guy who was I think the person was in the room the whole time. But for most shows that I work on, they were really charactery stuff. So if you need something specific, okay, so here's an example. I'm working on the show Tacoma FD. It takes place in the fire department. We have a guy on the show, a retired fireman. He sits in the room and we bounce off stuff off him to make sure it's accurate, and he corrects us, and it's called the apparatus room, like stuff like that. So it sounds authentic.
The technical jargon. Yeah,
and it shouldn't sound like it's written by comedy writers. It should sound somewhat real.
Okay.
So sometimes you have a consultant, but for the most part, you can always research. You can go on Google and do some research. But I haven't written any space movies or anything. So, but if I did, I'd probably read a book, maybe.
A lot of people love Tacoma FD, by the way, myself included. I think it's a phenomenal show. You guys are doing awesome on that. We'll get to that. From Kaz in the chats, he wants to know what's the story with the shoe over your shoulder.
Oh, this shoe?
Yeah.
It's not really a shoe, Kaz. It's just this is where they make a shoe on here. So the shoe is. I took this off a guy who has. The story belongs to the guy who's missing the foot. That he's got a better story for you. Okay,
there you go. It wasn't a shoe. From my view, it does look like a shoe too until you hold it up close, and then you're like, oh, okay, no, that's a wooden foot.
The wooden foot. Yeah, they make shoes on it.
All right, fantastic. Well, there you go. That answers that. Let's see. Okay, a lot of love of the shows. Okay, so from King of the Hill, which you did for about 5 years, it came Out of Practice, Rules of Engagement, Wilford, all phenomenal shows. And then it was a little bit after that you started kind of switching gears. You went from the writing to now becoming showrunners of a series. Yeah. What's that trend? I'm curious because as a writer, when do you know that you're ready to make that switch, or is it just like, hey, we've got this thing, you want to run it?
It's a little bit of both, honestly. It's like, you're different levels of writer, and you work your way up, and you finally get to a point where it's either like you either go up or you don't work. So, it's like you better do something. So that's when we got an opportunity to run a show. So sometimes I'd say at this point in my career, about half the jobs I get are for running, and the other half are co-exec, which is like the second layer. And I'm perfectly happy doing either one, where you're like the second in charge, or like right one step below. Either one's fine with me. I'm perfectly happy. But you just take whatever opportunities come to you. So sometimes you want to run a show, or you have to run a show because there's no other work out there. And sometimes you do whatever, you can get.
Which, I mean, you make it sound so blasé, but, because you're like, well, you do whatever work you can get, run a show, co-run a show. But it's like, no, people don't get offered those opportunities unless.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't no one ever says no to run a show.
Right.
And, you get it doesn't come on, we've run 3. It doesn't happen that many times where you get to,
right.
Only a handful of writers are really that, like Aaron Sorkin, he does whatever he wants.
Right. No, there's a lot of people. So, okay. And man, yeah, because the list of shows you worked on, man, really impressive. These are like, I tried to, how do I say this? Put you in a box. It was very hard to do.
Oh,
because while there is okay, there's that comedy kind of through line, you know, you can't compare, let's say, King of the Hill to Wilford, you know, or you know, Rules of Engagement. Well, okay, maybe a little bit like Just Shoot Me, maybe a little similarity in a couple things, but there's a wide gambit of styles and shooting and technique. I mean, is there something that draws you to each one of these, or is it just, hey, there's an opportunity to write on this show and you just go do it?
Follow the money. Like if you know story, you can work story structure, you can work on anything. And then your other job as a writer is to be able to pick up the voice of the show, and that's what you have to do. So some people say like, wow, yeah, you've done King of the Hill, but you've also done, you know, Rules of Engagement, which are so different. You know, that's just all part of the job. I don't see it as much very different at all. It's like,
it's just writing.
You know, comedy writer. So I'll whatever, you know, I'll write whatever you need.
Yeah. Okay. Question: do writers take it extremely personal when shows get canceled, especially when they are phenomenal shows and are so well written, but for some reason the network goes a different way?
Yeah, I mean, I was on Out of Practice, which I thought was an excellent show, and that was run by Chris Lloyd and Joe Keenan. And Chris later created Modern Family, and Joe Keenan's a brilliant writer. And so the writing staff on that was like, it was kind of the dream team. It was like when we got chosen to be on that show, I was like, damn, they want us because they're so good. And the show got canceled. You know, it comes down to numbers. It's usually about ratings, usually. And if the ratings aren't quite high enough, I still think they shouldn't have canceled that show. But I don't take it personally. It's like, oh well, you know, you clear out your desk and you try to find another job. You know, what are you gonna do? You move on to the nenext thing.
Yeah, you can't. It's not like you have that much say over it. I've seen. I mean, and you see certain. I have someone in mind, but I'm not going to pick on them. But you see certain talent, certain people that if a show's on the verge or it's 50-50 and like they start these like letter writing campaigns and these, you know, Facebook whatever you call them, the write-ins and whatnots. In your opinion, is it even worth it? I mean, is it really? Have you seen it change?
I haven't been on a show where like a campaign has saved the show. I've been on a show where campaigns have killed us. people complaining about us take us off the air. Thanks, asshole. But I haven't been in one where they actually saved us.
Interesting. Yeah, Leon in the chat says, yeah, that's what they did for Manifest. Like when Manifest went off the air, and then I think it got picked up by Netflix or whatever it was. Yeah, that's good insight. So as I was reading through your little thing here, you worked on Beavis and Butthead in 2011. So this is late Beavis and Butthead or re-brought back for the second time. Obviously, you know, Beavis or King of the Hill is an offshoot. It's a cousin of Beavis and Butthead. So is it weird kind of working in reverse where like you were on King of the Hill and then going to Beavis and Butthead, like knowing that they're kind of related?
You know, obviously, yeah, Mike Judge, those are both his shows, but not really. It was like, you know, we knew Mike from King of the Hill, and then we had this opportunity to do Beavis and Butthead, and that was more like those were like a few freelance episodes. They didn't really have a staff on that show. Our friends were the showrunners of it, but it was just them and two guys. And they said, hey, you want to write some episodes? And we're like, sure. I mean, the money was terrible, but it was Beavis and Butthead. So we're like, yeah, we'll do it.
It's iconic, yeah.
For a schedule, because it's like, you got to say yes to Beavis and Butthead. And then we just wrote a few, and then we went into the booth with Mike and we watched. It's exactly what you'd think of it. We have a laptop and we're watching some terrible music videos and we're just pitching jokes as Beavis and Butthead. And then Mike would go, he'd nod, and then he'd go into the booth and do the voice.
I can't imagine that's got to be. Yeah, I can't imagine what that experience would be like.
It was silly.
You also worked on Brickleberry, which I really enjoyed it. For those that don't, I don't know, Comedy Central. There's one I think Daniel Tosh was involved, or he was a producer or whatever, and did the voices and or one of the voices. It was such a great show. I think it ran for 2 seasons. I think it was.
Yeah.
It was that one that you really, because that seemed like such a, you know what, it makes sense now I'm thinking about it. Like it seemed like almost like a Beavis and Butthead in that it was kind of the raunchy comedy, a little off the wall, a little out there. Were you surprised that it didn't, you know, kind of garner more seasons?
I'm trying to remember if we did 1 season or 2 on that. I don't remember. And it's because I think what happened was we did one season, and then the shows take a long time before they get picked up because it's animation. And so I think what happened was we just left for another job. And then when it came back, we weren't available. I think that's what happened. Unless someone says, no, you did 2 seasons. Then I'm like, okay, I don't remember right. But
a quick Google search says 3 seasons.
No, but I didn't work.
But you didn't work on it. Right. Gotcha.
So, because or else if I were to stay on it, it means like I would have to be unemployed for like a year and a half or something. So you just have to on.
Yeah, I that's a thought I've never had is because of the cycle of animation and the time between, if you're not writing, for the next season, I guess, then there's that.
Well, they're not going to pick up the next season because they're going to wait until it airs to see if people want to watch it. And by that point, you're easily 9 months down the road. So
it's a great point, man. I learned something every time I do an interview. I learn something new. That's awesome. So okay, fast forward. Tacoma FD. I mean, how'd you get involved with these guys? What's that experience been like for you?
So those guys, they're 2 of the members from Broken Lizard, which is a comedy. They did Super Troopers. They did a bunch of movies. They just wrapped finishing movie just like I think today, and so they're terrific guys. We met because we had the same managers, and so they had this show. And to be honest, we had a similar idea for a show, and we go into a meeting. We go, hey. We have a similar idea. Here are all the scripts, or not the script, but here are the ideas. If you want, they're yours, as you beat us to the punch. And they're like, hey, well, why don't you come work for us? And they're just such sweet, great guys. And it really helps to have the actors in the room because the stars are, they're also the showrunners. And so you pitch an idea, and they don't want to do that, or they you hear it come out of their mouth, and then it's just so much easier to have. For them to be the same person, the actors being in the showrunner. So they're a pleasure to work with. So, yeah.
Oh, I got to imagine that the 2 guys, they're such a great comedy duo. And really everybody on that show is so good. So good that does writing comedy for a firehouse, does that come easily for you? Again, is it just story, or is it a little more situational?
It's a story, but you want to make them a little specific to those guys. They what they tend to do is they come in with ideas at the beginning of each season, like this is we want to do a show about this or about, and so it's my partner and I's kind of at our level. It's our function is to say, okay, how do we turn that little idea? How do we turn that into something that feels like a story? And that's where that's our experience. That's our expertise is like turning, just a kernel of an idea and how we break it up into acts and make it feel like a compelling story.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's got to be fun. Certain shows, it just seems like a really fun environment to work. And
they're really laid back, and they're just a pleasure. You can tell from watching it. It's like it's casual. It's fun.
Yeah. A lot of a lot of positive comments. A couple I'll ignore. Okay. People talking about so like Hank Hill's Tool Shed. I mean, from I think that's a Beavis and Butthead thing that they did some inappropriate things in Hank's Tool Shed, but that's old news.
Sure they did.
That's kind of their thing. Okay, so I'm curious, as somebody who's been in the business for a long time, and as somebody is currently teaching, which we're going to talk about too, about the online courses that you provide and the different things. For you, what in your experience has been the biggest misconception for what you do as a TV writer, as a showrunner? What is the general misconception?
I think some people are surprised to learn that, like when I was on King of the Hill, they'd say, okay, which character do you write for? I was like, I write for all the characters, so I used to say Ladybird. Everything Ladybird says comes out of my mouth. But no, when you write an episode, you got to take the whole idea and you turn it. You write all the characters and you put it into a story. Some people think that, okay, so what does the network hand you ideas? Like, if they did, they would be writers. Like they're not. That's not. They can't do that. That's why they need us. We're the ones, we hand them ideas.
Yeah, they just shoot them down, right? Like that's their job.
Well, for the most part, they don't even do that. They just like sometimes they give you notes like, what are you going for? I don't quite understand this, and then you kind of adjust. Sometimes they'll shoot down, but not often.
Okay. So you've done a lot. You've done a lot. I scrolled through the whole page.
Ooh.
I'm curious because for us laymen, you start to see like producer, executive producer, consulting producer, supervising producer. Like, what's the difference? Can you explain it?
Yeah. So you got a staff of writers, and that's called the writing staff. Now the lowest level writer is called a staff writer, and they usually have a credit at the end. And then if you get a bump, the next year or whatever, you become a story editor, then executive story editor, co-producer, producer, supervising producer, co-executive producer, executive producer. Executive producer is usually the showrunner, the boss. And so there's just different levels of pay grade, basically.
Are they? I mean, I'm gonna imagine there's different levels of responsibility too, though, or is it just
Not
seniority?
really. It's mostly seniority, and it's mostly like if the executive producer leaves the room then usually the co-exec will run the room, which is a big responsibility, knowing how to run a TV room. But everyone else usually is just, you're basically all on the same level. The only difference is, if you're smart, you'll realize if you're a low-level writer, you'll probably defer to someone with more experience instead of dig your heels in. And it's not because the person with more experience is like, hey, bow to me. I know. It's like, well, that's your experience. You learn stuff with experience. So that's kind of how that happens.
Yeah, I'm equating that to my military service, and I'm thinking like almost like you would have a squad, and where the difference is kind of just how the seniority, how long you've been there. We're all trained. We all start at that basic, and then just people kind of staffs, sergeant, staff sergeant, and it's just as you put in that time, you're now leading those kind of beneath you and kind of leading the way. So makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense when you break it down like that. I like it.
Well, difference in the military, you can't argue. I mean, you take orders. You can't argue with someone more senior, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's there's those people that try. It doesn't usually end well for them, but for the most part. Okay, from the audience, can you give some advice to someone wanting to get into the business? What is your kernel of wisdom that you can pass on, or something definitely not to do?
Okay, well, so here's the thing. If this person's on social media, obviously they are. Like I post daily tips on social media at Michael Jamin Writer. Every day I post a different, sometimes it's about writing, sometimes about how to break into the business as a writer, director, actor. Sometimes I talk about like how much money these people get made. And so my advice is just follow me there and take notes, watch all my posts and if you're serious about it, take notes, because what resonates from you, like today, in a month from now, you go, oh, now I get it. So, that's my advice. Like, I don't have one single advice. Like, that's what I talk about every day. And I started doing this maybe about 6 months ago, just posting 3-minute videos a day. So
yeah,
get it. It's all yours.
That's actually how I came across you. I was actually on TikTok, and I was fascinated by the tidbits behind the scenes, the writing process you were talking about. And I know you also do the podcast. Which
we started a podcast.
And again, we talked about the name of it. I absolutely love the name of it, which was, hold on, I wrote it down somewhere.
It's okay. It's called Screenwriters Need to Hear This.
Screenwriters Need to Hear This. Oh, I love that name.
This is what you need to hear.
Yes.
You don't want to hear any of it.
Oh man, that's such a good name. So tell me a bit. What's the idea behind it? What made you go like, okay, I'm going to do this podcast, and this is why?
Honestly, it all started at the beginning of the pandemic because Hollywood shut down for 6 months. Like I had nothing. No one had anything going on. We weren't doing shows on Zoom, on Skype or whatever. Zoom, no, yeah, whatever it's called. We weren't doing any of those shows. And so I had a friend who was an aspiring screenwriter. He's like, hey, you should start a course. And I'm like, I don't really have the time or desire. But when the pandemic hit, I had nothing but time. And so I started putting that together. Then the podcast and posting daily kind of was like an outshoot. It was like, I needed, for a project I'm doing, I needed to build a social media following for like a pet project I'm doing. And so the best way to do that is just give away everything you have. Just give it away and people will show up. And so that's why, and it's not a big deal for me to post every day, once a day for 2 or 3 minutes, and I put it up on the internet. And so that's how that came about. So go get it. All you got to do is follow, and you can always unfollow.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not just saying it because you're on, because I followed it well before I invited you to the show, and I was because I'm like I said at the beginning, I'm so fascinated by that the inner workings and all the ins and outs. I have friends who are trying to write for theater and trying to write for TV, and I have friends who are doing background extra work and trying to get into that or story writing or writing books. So I know a few people where I sent them. I was like, oh, you got to watch this clip. There's a lot of good information back there. So you're providing, I mean, really great information. I know one of them was talking about like the difference between agents and managers, how to find someone to represent you, and all these different things. Which already people are like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna follow this guy.
It's all free, dude. Go get it.
Yep, exactly. So one more question I wanted to ask about the title showrunner. You hear that so much, like, but that's not exactly an official title in the sense of. So what is when you hear showrunner? What does that mean? To let people know, what does that mean when you're a showrunner?
So the showrunner is sometimes the creator of the show, sometimes not. The showrunner is the head writer, basically, but it's more than the head writer. The showrunner is responsible for all the creative decisions on the show. They may delegate some of those decisions, but at the end of the day, it's their vision, right? And in film, the director's in charge. It's like that's why it says a film by. The writers sometimes not even invited to the set. Who cares about the writers? Sometimes they got a million. Like the writers treated like, except for the money, the writers treated like crap. But in TV, the writer's the boss, and the director works for the showrunner. And so whatever you watch a show has 13 episodes, you might see 13 different directors. So obviously the director couldn't possibly be the boss. They're just there for a week. It's the showrunner's always there. And so when I say creative decisions, you're talking about what stories to tell, how to tell those stories, hair, makeup, wardrobe, sets, locations, where we're going to spend the money, stuff like that. That's all the showrunner makes all those decisions. It's a lot to do.
Yeah, it's huge, and you hit on something that I've always been confused because, like you said, a movie is directed by, it's a film by. They're the guy, they're in charge, they make all the shots, and then so like I think of someone like Kevin Smith, right? He makes his movies, it's all him, that's all his, and except the one off studio movies that he did, but then you hear, oh, Kevin Smith's gonna direct this episode of Supergirl, and it's like, but that doesn't make sense. How does it, like, what is if a director makes all the decisions on a film set and then he just comes in and do one episode, like what is he really doing on that episode, really?
Well, it's not like you'd watch that episode of Supergirl. I don't know if you did that, but it's not like you'd watch it go, oh, I can tell this is a Kevin Smith. Like you'd think it would look different, or there would be talky, or more like people would be smoking weed or whatever. Like there's none of that, right? So he's just there doing basically a day job, and he's making creative decisions, but they all have to be approved by the showrunner, and that's how you get a homogenous show. That's why you watch Supergirl and you go, oh, I love Supergirl. I always like all the episodes. It's not like you're like, it shouldn't feel like it's one director did this one and one director did that one. It should all kind of feel like this is my favorite show.
Right.
And
right.
So, yeah.
I think. Sorry. Go ahead. No.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think of like and like there's like those anthology shows where like the whole point is every episode is a different creative team, so they all, like, it might be one story, but I was thinking of like I think The Matrix did it that one time, like they had like a bunch of different shorts and they were all different teams, so it's all the same story but different, very different look.
Even Black Mirror, which is an anthology show, that Charlie Brooker, he's the showrunner. He decided, that's why every episode kind of has the same feel, right? I mean, it's not like, so you're going to watch some kind of crazy dark dystopian science fiction. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a modern day Twilight Zone. I love that. It's a great show. But yeah, that's an excellent point. I like that. Okay, so oh my God, we're coming up on time. I have so many other questions. Tell me a little bit about the online course you provide. Like, why is, like, and I've looked into it. I know how amazing it is, but let the people know at home.
Yeah, again, so I started that only because I had a friend pressure me to do it, and he's actually the co-host of my podcast. He was like, because I remember talking to him. He was an aspiring screenwriter. He went to film school, and he wanted to know about story. And I kind of told him, and he was like, yeah, I didn't learn any of this in film school. How do I not know? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't go to film school either. I learned this on the job, basically working for writers who were, more senior and more talented than I am. And so I run the course is basically as if you were sitting in a writer's room with me. Like, yeah, okay, I'm going to show you how to take a kernel of an idea, and we're going to decide whether it's a good one or a bad one. And then if it's a good one, I'm going to show you how we break it into 3-act structure, how we turn that idea, how we turn it into a beat sheet, into an outline, to a first draft and a second draft, literally how we turn it into television. So it's not theory. It's like, it's this is what we do. Yeah. This is because we don't have time for theory in TV. You got to do an episode every week. Like, when people start talking theory in a writer's room, I'm like, you need to get out of here because I got a job to do.
Right. And then for again, I read into this stuff and you hear, when you do a movie, it's 6, 7, 8 months and it's, a shot a day. But when you're doing TV, it's like they're cranking these things out as fast as humanly possible. In your opinion, I'm curious, is that fair? Should there be more time given to TV, or should movies be made faster? I mean,
we ran a show called Marin in IFC, and that we had 3 days to shoot one episode, which is really fast. Like 5 would be short, 3 is fast. It was like if your thumb is not in the shot, if the cameraman is steady, move on to the next one. And when the critics watched it, no one said, oh, the show is like, it's too fast. It wasn't framed perfectly. Because there are shows that you see on big network shows that are beautifully lit and framed. So what? They're boring. They're terrible. But this show was dirty and gritty because we had to shoot it fast. And people like the writing. People and the acting. So if who cares if it's a dirty, if the camera slipped a little bit. No one's going to call me out on that.
It's like a guerrilla style shooting, right?
It was fast. And, I liked it.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you something. Being on set, people think it's fun. In my opinion, it's one of the most boring things you can do because it's mostly just people setting up cameras and you're just sitting there. You're just waiting hour for a shot. And a shot can take, 30-second shot, which takes all day to shoot. I mean, it's really boring.
So the best part of your job. All right. So we know being on set is the worst. What's the best part?
Fast, you're like, okay, this is good. But if you're doing one of these, like, I don't know, if you're doing a show, it takes. Sometimes I'll watch a show and I go, oh, that shot. I know that shot took 3 hours to set up.
Everything's perfectly placed, right? Like, or especially like I think of like the superhero shows where they have to do that quick change where they do their swoosh in and out, and it's like that's 2 totally different shots for basically what is 1 or 2 seconds of screen time, and that's double the work.
That's why I'm a writer. I'm not a director. That's why I became a writer. So
all right. Given you obviously you dabbled in a bit of the superhero with Lois and Clark and the different shows. I'm curious because I hear often that we're reaching a saturation point, right? That there's this like superhero, same thing that it was with zombies for a while, and then it was with the vampires, and now it's superheroes. Do you see on the cusp of Spiderman coming out in 48 hours? Do you see superhero fatigue on the horizon?
As a matter of fact, I do. I remember in the 90s, and I was running a Just Shoot Me. NBC had this thing, Must See TV, and they picked up, I don't know, it was like some crazy amount of sitcoms that year. They had so many sitcoms because they were working, and so when something works, let's just do 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the writers on the show saying, "Oh, this is bad news for sitcoms because they picked up so many." She's like, "This is going to kill sitcoms," and that's kind of what happened. It oversaturated, and I think that's what's happening with these, especially these Marvel movies. It's like it's not special when there's a new one every 10 minutes. It's just not special.
Mm. And I do agree. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge nerd, a fan of them. But when you're constantly having to raise the stakes, right? Every movie is the end of the world, and then it's the end of the solar system, then the galaxy, and then the universe. Like, the Fast and the Furious franchise, they sent a car to space. The last one, they were driving a car in space.
Right, because what are you going to do? How do you top it?
I mean, you're the writer. How do you top it when everything is end of the world? What how do you top that?
Right. I mean, we're conscious when we're writing a show not to go too big too fast, because if you get too big, how do you top it? How do you, like, that's when shows jump the shark, when you start getting too big. So you always kind of, as a showrunner, your job is kind of to rein in the writers, because sometimes a writer will pitch something, everyone will laugh and get very excited about it, and you're like, whoa, guys, let's not kill the show yet.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, you can't paint yourself into the corner. The last one I'll say, like, I was a huge fan of Dexter. I love Dexter, and every season built and built and built, and then it was like, I think it was after the 4th season, and then it was like, oh my god, it was so good, and then it's like, where do you go from here? And then it seemed,
especially those drama shows. Yeah, I'm in awe of them when they can, Breaking Bad, the fact that every season was amazing. Like, don't ask me how they did it. It was really good.
You got to sell that course, man. How to keep writing drama better and better every year. All right, well, we're getting to the end of it, and I wanted to give you an opportunity. Talk about anything that you have coming up that you'd like to promote. Where can people follow you and support you? All that stuff.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to take the course, it's at michaeljamin.com/course. You can find it there, michaeljamin.com. If anybody wants to just learn on social media, I post at Michael Jamin Writer. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And my screenwriting podcast called Screenwriters Need to Hear This. All is just, if you're, and if I would recommend, if you're on, follow me everywhere, because I have different stuff that I put everywhere. So I don't necessarily put the same stuff on, because some platforms aren't really right for whatever the format. So if you want to follow me everywhere, go get it. If you have it, if not, just follow me Instagram, whatever is easier for you. Yeah, and I try to post. I got a small team doing this. I just come up with the content, and then they help distribute it. So
yeah, and by the way, they're doing a bang up job. Whoever they are out there, they're doing a great job.
Better, actually. I just approved some stuff. I was like, hey, this is starting to look good.
Yeah, so it really is quality material, and I can second, having seen it, that because us low level people probably put the same content on every medium because it's just easier that way. But you really do put good content out across.
It just depends. I'm always trying to experiment. Like, I'm trying to experiment with stuff that I don't know what people resonate with. I'm just curious. I'm as curious about this as you are. I was a very private person until I started doing this, and then suddenly I'm on social media, and it was a little uncomfortable at first because that's not really my nature, but it is now.
I get it. I totally get it. And any shows, anything you're excited about, anything you want to talk about or you can talk about so far?
Well, there's Tacoma. After we go back in January. My partner and I we sold 2 animated shows. And the thing about we sold them because in COVID they're easier to produce, and we're happy to do them. We're writing the pilots now, so I can't say, well, it'll be on the air whenever. We're still writing. We're still in the writing process. So,
right. Okay.
Hopefully I'll news about that soon.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out. You are forever a friend of the show. Anytime you want to come back, promote anything. For sure. We'd love to have you, or we could dissect some TV scripts and talk business. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, it was a pleasure for me. So thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna go to a short break. We'll be back with more show right after this. Hang tight, and we'll see you guys at the break.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Pop Culture Warrior. This is whatever it is, hour 3. Hey, let's get Radar back in here. Say hi, Radar.
Hi, Radar. You let me back.
Hey, there he is. Oh man, what'd you think of our guest, Michael Jamin?
Dude, I loved it. He was jamming. He jammed out. I was a fan.
He was jamming, man. And sometimes I get. Go ahead. I'll let you.
I had a point of contention though.
Okay.
And I put in the chats, but I didn't hear you say words about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, no one can tell your story like you can. You guys should write. I'm like, how the fuck are we gonna write when y'all can't get our uniforms right? Just saying. I am so fucking sick of seeing these pukes like looking like shit in my fucking uniform. Get it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get these dudes,
The
get them on that shit.
the funny thing, the closest thing I've ever seen to it's so hard because I don't know. I could get into a whole side tangent about how like things like Black Hawk Down, like those are based on real events and those things really happen, but that's not the typical military experience. Even if you are a ranger, even if you are airborne, even if you are infantry, that's not the typical experience. I had my God, I can't count how many firefights I was in and all this and all that. But there's sometimes weeks, in between.
Well,
like it's just boring.
Here's what pisses me off though about it. Okay,
Mhm.
I can think of the firefights and dumb shit that I did, right?
Yep.
And the fun, and I'm not gonna say fun. I don't know if call it the adrenaline rush, the exhilaration, all of the things, right?
Sure.
All of the emotions, and this is where I feel like Hollywood fails at, because there's no way you can put all of that, all those things, all those emotions into film. You just can't.
Right.
You can sure try it, but and of course everyone's experience is different, right? But you can't. You just can't. There's too much happening inside you and inside your brain and all that. I know they try really hard, but honestly, I don't talk about that shit. Don't.
Yeah.
You know what I talk about? Like, okay, like my job, I sit in a truck with veterans all day, right? There's 4 of us on the crew right now. We didn't say one word today about combat experience. I know 2 of those guys are buddies, drink beer in my backyard with me, buddies, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked a little bit about combat, just very little. But most of the time we talk about the fucking dumb shit and the pranks and the fucking fun we had and like the camaraderie, fucking, the camaraderie, the fun of the fun time. Like we spent like 45 minutes a day bullshitting about stupid shit we did like between missions in Iraq, right? And those 2 guys are both 3rd ID, right? At different times, but both in the 3rd Infantry Division, both on different deployments to Iraq, right? And me running with the 82nd. Like, so obviously we didn't do the exact same shit,
but
right?
It's in line. Yeah.
Like we had like a fucking bags tournament, you know what I mean? Or we play washers, or we had a dude who was Filipino and he got these like weird fucking beef tongues and shit. We would, that's the shit that we talked about, right? But we didn't talk about like we don't fucking sit around and bullshit like about like the Black Hawk Down. And I don't get me wrong, those stories need told.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are stories like Alwyn Cash. That'd be a fucking awesome movie. I wish someone would turn that into a fucking feature film and show the actual real badassery of people like that in situations like that.
Yeah.
Where he's not a Navy SEAL. He's not some fucking glamorized American sniper hero guy. He's not a Chris Kyle. He's just a regular dude put into an extraordinary situation. Right. And I'm not saying those movies shouldn't be made, but it's hard to compartmentalize combat into something that you can put into film.
Yeah. I think I was talking to somebody,
and everyone tries that.
I think it was like our 2nd or 3rd ever interview that we did on this show, and I remember it being early because we still didn't have a camera for the guest. We still weren't doing cameras. We had Rod Lurie, who was the director of what was it called?
It was the
Outpost one. The Outpost. That's I said the Outpost one. The Outpost. Yeah, I'm like, it's the Outpost one. The Outpost. It was such a great movie. And I was sitting there with my wife, I was saying, because I really think they got very close to the typical military experience where like, okay, there's a skirmish here. And then it was just like them fucking around, right? They're like wrestling and slapping each other and long walks through the mountains and then a little thing here and there. And then like, it was just really, really captured. Because I remember at one point my wife's like, there's nothing happening. I'm like, welcome to a fucking deployment. It's just long spurts of nothing happening and then intense shit.
Right. And like, okay, Greg and Scott they're like, excitement's it's not just excitement though.
Yeah.
Because it's also fear. It's also like adrenaline. I'm not. I wasn't. I was full of fear.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I was not.
Terrified.
I think if you're not terrified at some moment in that, you're fucking lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
When you start getting shot at, that's one of that fight or flight instinct kicks in. That's the whole reason we train for the shit that we do.
Yeah, you
right?
overcome it. It's not
exactly.
that it's not there. It's just you learn to lean into it, overcome it. But the fear is real. The fear is real.
Absolutely.
As
it should be.
Here's the crazy thing. I had a huge fear of heights, and then I went airborne. Like I learned to just jump out. Just don't worry about what's that you're jumping to your possible death. You just do it.
I hope your fucking chute opens.
Hope your chute opens. You learn to just let go. And the actual King Smith on YouTube says, hashtag radar rants.
Fuck yeah, radar rants. Maybe that'll be a title of my show. Radar rants. But, okay, but seriously, like we got all these. Like, I don't know, dude. Like I excitement. You're not definitely excitement. That's definitely a good word for it.
Sure.
But it's so much more than that. And it's
so much.
And to make one word of it is just it cheapens it. And same with like with trying to put into a movie. You cheapen it.
The
like
feeling that you're talking about, it's like a recipe. It's like you're like a recipe, right? Like there's different ingredients that make up that feeling. It's not just excitement, but it's not just fear. It's this. It's the whole smorgasbord of feelings, and everything in between that makes that that adrenaline. It's just pure adrenaline. It's fear.
Right.
It's,
I've done the same thing. Like if you have been in combat, like I've felt kind of the same thing on mountain bikes before, going down some fucking crazy sketchy trails and shit way too fast and fucking doing dumb. And I wonder too if that's why we as veterans do dumb shit.
Oh, probably.
I'm not saying quote unquote dumb shit, but I mean like some sketchy shit. You know what I mean? Like kind of adrenaline junkies in that. And I think some of that too, like, you know, and I know that's why like groups like the Hells Angels were fucking made and shit like that. But I mean, even not Hells Angels kind of level shit, but like, you know, we're skydivers, we're fucking bungee jumpers, we're scuba divers, we're all kinds of fucking
and I
shit.
think that also goes into a lot of the psychology of it. And this is going down a whole other rabbit hole, but there's also the psychology of it that, like, you know, why do guys drink so much? Why do guys take pills? Why do guys end up doing drugs? Why do guys end up, you know, getting tattooed over every part of their body? It's all goes into like trying to recapture that feeling, trying to feel something, to like, I'm going to, you know, it's either going to be pain or pleasure or somewhere in between, trying to, you know, I try to explain to people, I'm like, when you're in combat, you drop a guy in the middle of Afghanistan and like, all right, we'll be back for you in a year. Like, you're living at a heightened level of just everything, anxiousness, fear, happiness, just everything. Like, everything's amplified to 11. So I was reading somewhere where they talked about how, like a football player, at the snap of the ball, every sense is heightened. Right, because they have to look at all the defenders and look at all the people and what's happening, and they're going full bore, full tilt for like 40 seconds.
Right.
Each play. And I'm like, imagine you took that and you're like, all right, do that all day, every day for a year. And it's like, and that's what you know, your typical grunt, your typical, you know, infantryman, ranger, airborne, whatever, those guys that are out there living beyond the wire, living in the wilderness, like you just like, you live every moment going like, there's somebody trying to kill me. And like, you have to be paying attention. So you're living at such a heightened level for, you know, just months at a time. And then to be like, all right, go home now, everything's fine. And it's like, you can't turn that shit off, man. You've wired your brain to like be on high alert at all times, and it's not something that's easy to turn off. So anyway, that's a whole.
I think it's kept me from hitting deer.
I'm sure
that's the one thing that's helped. Like when I'm driving, I'm still fucking in that mode when I'm driving sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I've swerved to miss, you know, a garbage bag. Yeah.
Right. So we've got the combat thing figured out. So why doesn't anybody write about the other dumb shit?
You know, here's my theory. I think that there are people writing that stuff. I don't think it's generally appealing. I don't think people want to buy it or put it on air. Because I really do believe that
because beating off in a porta shitter isn't funny to other people.
Look, we had Scott. Was it Scott Mann? Remember he wrote Elegy of a Green Beret. Incredible.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. Let's be honest. You're not gonna see that on ABC. You're not gonna see that on FX, right? I don't think people. I don't. Not to say that people don't want to see it because people watch the news and people love their movies about heroes, but
yeah,
they don't want I just think people don't really want the reality of what it is.
Okay,
what it's like.
I get that,
and I think that's what it is because we understand. You guys out there, you Radar, me, like we get the reality. We've been there. We've lived through it. We understand what it is. But I think the general population wants the heroes, right? They want that, but they don't want all the other shit.
They don't want the they don't want Radar. They don't want people fucking drawing dicks and porta shitters and telling.
Well, think about it. You want the Miracle on Ice. You want the underdog story. You want the gold winning story. You don't want the guy that came in fourth story. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the general military experience is just a bunch of dudes coming in just missing bronze, and then you got a couple guys getting the bronze.
A lot of us do. I mean, well, we miss bronze stars because we're not E7s. Oh,
you see how I tied that up? You see how they set that up? Like it was the bronze. But yeah, it like I get it. Like, to take it real far is like to say, okay, remember the Twin Tower movie, the 9/11 one, right? With about the guys that survived being under the rubble. Like, you want the movie of the guys that get rescued and survive. You don't want the movie of the other people that didn't make it out. That makes sense? Like, so like that.
Yeah.
That's why I think you don't have stories that like the experiences we've been through. But anyway.
Right.
Greg, it's not for mass consumption.
Vet TV does it, and I've never watched any of their stuff. Some of their stuff's kind of funny on their ads or whatever.
Yeah,
I've never watched it. I don't know if it's any good. So they claim to do a lot of that shit, but it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're making money on it. I'm not. But maybe that's why we're all here though too, because we tell both stories.
Yeah, there's some great, like I mentioned, I know some great people that are creating content, not like this, but writing. And either writing books, short stories, essays, things to be turned into plays, and it's getting out there. I think little by little, it's making its way out there. I think give it a couple more years, and who knows, maybe we will start to see representation, our kind of representation in movies and in TV. But also, I think about it too. If I saw a representation of today's military, I would be like, that's not me, right? Because that's another thing. Then you got the generational gap because my deployments are very different than deployments from the last, let's say, 5-6 years. My deployments are very different, very, very different. So then that's a whole another thing.
Yeah, I'm going to be kind of excited. Like, Private Radar comes home on Saturday. He flies in on Saturday for 2 weeks. So I'm kind of excited about that to kind of pick his brain a little bit and see like how much things have changed or are different when it comes to the experience.
Ask him ask him what he's doing on Tuesday. I could use a new radar.
Well, he's probably actually funny.
So instead of it saying radar under your bubble, it's going to say private radar.
Private radar. Ooh, maybe not. I don't, because he's still active duty. I don't want to get in trouble.
We can get in trouble. We're not just talking about comic books and movies.
He's going to get in trouble when 2 weeks when he flies back to Germany and shows up at his unit, and his first sergeant's like, "Hey there, Private Radar."
Hey there, Pop Culture Warrior co-host.
Yeah. Hey, Private Radar, what you doing?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't get in trouble. Well,
anyway, guys, we have reached the end of another wonderful episode of Pop Culture Warrior. I gotta say that I secured a guest that I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Very excited about. Someone we haven't talked about. And the good and the bad. The good and the bad. We are booked. Like, we are booked almost to February. Every single episode we have a guest lined up. So the good news is I was super excited to get this guy. I'm a big fan. I followed his career. And when I found out they're like, yeah, he wants to do it, I'm like, oh my God, sick. And they're like, all right, what's your first opening? And I'm like, February. It's like, we can't do it earlier. And I'm like, no, I don't got an opening. So the bad news, it's gonna be a couple weeks till we get him. Good news is he wanted the first available opening and he got it. So we will see him in a couple weeks. But next week, I will talk about next week. Let's see, what day is it today? We're on the 14th. Jesus Christ. Next week. Oh yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. A phenomenal comic book artist, a guy who's been around and done it all. A guy by the name of Matt Haley is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about comics and art. So if you're into the drawing, like my man Ben out there, if you're into the drawing stuff, if you're into the artwork, it's going to be a good show. Scott, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth, Scott. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. All right, we're not playing 20 questions. You just
nope.
You just sit there and you enjoy it.
You know who it is. You know what? I'll spoil it. His name is Uncle.
Okay.
Here.
Yes, Uncle will be joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Somebody calls him Uncle. That's all I'm gonna say.
What if Uncle Fisk is banging Aunt Val?
Ooh,
they're making nieces and nephews. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's right. Scott's coming on. Scott, you're the guest in a couple weeks. So anyway,
we should do that.
Bring on audience members.
Yeah, just like I don't know, have like a okay. Yeah, there. I pinned some stuff earlier. If you want to be a co-host, no, I'm just kidding. No, but we could do that. We could maybe like have like a maybe audience, that could be like a draw
audience day. I don't know. So I will say too. Don't forget, guys. I'm trying to set up. I want to do end of January the roast of CQ. So if you guys think you're funny and you think you can crack some jokes, you can either record yourself, you can write them in, record yourself saying them, whatever it is, send them in, and we will use them. I will use them all, regardless of how terrible they are. If you write them in, I'll have Radar read the I'll have him read the jokes. So Radar will be performing the jokes that you write in. But if not, if you record it, then we'll play it. You can do a video, you can do it audio. I don't care. I'm reaching out to
Radar would be fun, wouldn't it?
Right, the roast of Radar. You're afraid, like, man, can we get through the CQ one before you start planning yours? Jesus Christ!
My idea was Scott's.
Oh my God.
Can't be worse than my puns. Oh, sir, I'm the father of 8. Don't worry, my puns get worse.
Yeah, and dad puns. And I'm also gonna reach out to some comedian friends of mine and have some real funny people come up with some shit to say. So there will be that too, and maybe there'll be some special surprise guests. I don't know. We'll see.
Surprise guest.
Maybe we'll see.
But maybe we should do that, dude. Just for like I don't know, give them like a 15-minute spot.
The audience.
Just give somebody like a chance. Just give them. If you have you gotta have a camera to be in the bubble.
To do what? To co-host? Like you give them a chance to co-host?
And then they'll see how fucking not easy this actually is.
I feel like you're just looking for a way to get 15 minutes off during an episode. Like
I get an hour off. I basically get an hour off when you have a guest anyway, right?
I can put you on camera and you just sit there quietly.
Well, whatever. Like, I you know what I do? I look up puns and I look up extreme Marvel ideas,
theories, and, the theories and conspiracies and whatever. Anyway,
dude, I was this close to Googling like Spider-Man spoilers.
Don't you,
Almost.
don't you, dude. Don't
I
do it.
didn't. I did not.
Don't
I did
do it.
not. I did not.
All you
Radar
people
wants to
out
be.
there,
You know, Radar
be
doesn't
good.
want to be. Radar, actually, Scott. In all fairness, I love doing this show. I really do. It's so much fun. And that's why I do other shows too, because I really do enjoy this.
Mm.
Right? We're volunteers. We don't get paid for doing this at all. Well, CQ might get sponsors and shit, but I don't. And we've got a lot of money wrapped up in Go XLR things and stream decks and computers and fucking lights and our time. Like my wife and kids are upstairs. We do this because we love it. We love you guys and we love being part of this. So we really do have fun. And I there's gonna be at some point I know I'm gonna step down. I get that, but
I mean, we all will.
We all will, because hopefully this will keep going forever. And someday I want to actually retire from all the thing, right? But that's why I put this in the thing. If you guys want to put in your shit and sign up, we've got some big things coming, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and
remember, both me and Radar started out as watchers.
Yep.
Like that's how we started.
Yep. I started out watching this thing, and like was drunk and was like, it was Flash. He was like, if you want to do this, fucking sign up. I was like, how fucking tough can it be? All fucked up, and then I did it. I think I might even spell shit wrong, like in the application.
And that's why he's a co-host instead of a host.
That's why
real quick,
click that link. Go to there and hit join their team. Fucking hook it up.
The actual
Radar. Hey man, I'm multifaceted Radar. I'm like Harvey Dent.
He's getting all in touch with his feelings. That's what it is. He's getting.
I actually put out a really good comic reference.
Getting all. Yeah, you did actually. That was impressive. But see, you've been doing this long enough that now it doesn't feel surprising when you do it.
It's time for me to move on. Scott can do it.
The actual King Smith says, I'm gonna see Spider-Man before CQ, and that makes me happy. Wait, when exactly are you going? When are you going? Because
he's been watching this before Saturday Night Savagery, dude. That was fucking forever ago.
Oh yeah, damn, dude.
Oh, I miss. Dude, I wish we should have that sometime. We should have like Minx and all them come back for a night.
A reunion, reunion episode.
Have like Pie back and fucking that'd be so fun. Get Red Leg back on the air for a little bit. Jay Reddy and get everyone to come hang back out. That'd be fun, dude.
So sorry. So
he's got a midnight showing.
Okay, Greg's got a midnight showing. So you're a baller, dude. You're a baller. I got kid. I can't do that. But the actual King Smith, I'll have you know, you are not going to see it then before me. You're saying 6:15 on Thursday. I have 2 tickets for 2:30, I think, on Thursday. Hey, Radar, go ahead. Tell the fine folks at home what can be found on a typical week while I look up where my tickets are.
Well, you have been listening to the Hawkeye review with CQ and Radar. I mean, Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. No, I'm bullshitting because next week is going to be the Spider-Man review with CQ and Radar.
I think we have a lot to talk about.
We're going to have something to talk about. But anyway, we have lots to talk about every Tuesday because we're balling. Now, tomorrow, Wednesday, Donza Day of no scheduled activities. We ain't going to be here. We're going to be off work. Take the Wednesday off. Now, what are you showing me? What are you showing me? Thursdays? You're not showing me. You're showing King Smith.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. Okay. Thursday, swords time. Big sword stuff. Active duty, National Guard, reserves, retirees, all the Army things, right? They're going to be talking about it. Ice, Spanky, Sergeant's time. If you need to know, want to know, have your little finger on the pulse of things, not Marvel, but actual Army, they're the guys to hang out with. Well, Spanky's not a guy. Spanky's a girl. Spanky's awesome. Be there. Have fun with them. They're both big sergeants. They will square you away. Now, Friday night, Freedom. Got Kaz and Pookie. Kaz was here earlier making fun of me because Kaz is awesome. Now, they have an amazing show. Talk about all kinds of cool fucking things, and it's an eclectic show. It's very good. hang out with them Friday nights. Now, Saturdays and Sundays, we have the days off. Saturday night, I'm going to be picking up Private Radar from the airport first time home on leave in over a year and a half. So that'll be fun. Now, he'll be here, but y'all won't be here because it's my house and y'all don't live with me. But well, that's where we're going to have time off, right? Sunday, day off as well. Monday, we have the Monday edition. Okay. The Monday edition is Ice and Mom or me or Ice all by himself or whatever. It's busy. Okay. It's the holidays. We have different schedules and whatnot. And Mom is out saving the world upon occasion. Okay. But Ice will be there for sure. And we'll be talking about all things like some current event stuff, some things that are happening, all kinds of stuff. He might even talk about Spider-Man because he's also kind of a nerd too. Boom. Gotcha. Now, Tuesday, the day after Monday, is us at Pop Culture Warrior with him, CQ, me, Radar.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
Max-a-lot. I see you. Max-a-lot on YouTube saying, ask about the electric game box. That's a conversation for another day. I am an A- human. We'll have that conversation another day. So just again, a heads up, guys. Next week, we do have a show. Matt Haley as a guest. The 28th, which will be the Tuesday following, no show. We're taking a little Christmas break. No show. And then January 4th will be the first show of the new year. And we got a great guest for that show. Very excited. We'll talk about that next week. But yeah, we are legit booked until February. So lots of really, really fun, cool stuff going on. To those winners of last week, your prize boxes shall be packed up and shipped out this week. I remembered we had somebody that won the Halloween contest. I was sitting on the box forever, and I didn't ship it out. I didn't ship it out because the person lived like 40 minutes from me. So I was like, I'm not going to ship it because we'll cross paths. And of course, it took like a month and a half. But I did deliver it. I have pictures. Nice. I'm going to post the pictures on the Facebook page, on the Pop Culture Warrior Facebook page. So those the pictures of the person that won that prize box, and I'm going to put together these boxes, send those out, and lots more fun, exciting stuff coming. I'm excited. Lots of good stuff. Really getting some amazing guests. So with all that, stay tuned, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking that out. Thank you for being always as awesome as you guys are. Lively bunch of weirdos. I couldn't love each and every one of you more. Thank you to my co-host Radar. I am CQ. This has been another edition of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. We'll see you guys next week. Say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
All right, guys. Shots.
You